You're watching the Top 6 Show, the original multi-club fan channel. Make sure you're following us now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The link is in the description below. Welcome back to the Top 6 Show. Premier League football is back. It has been a long and enduring 2 weeks. Loads of games to preview, lots of stories to delve into, and of course the big one, Arsenal travel to the Etihad. We'll be getting the panel's thoughts and feelings, your predictions on that game as well. We're of course sponsored by our friends today at Match Bingo. Get their app downloaded. Lots of free cards being given away, but also get yourselves ready because for the first time in 3 years, the Football Terrace is doing a watch along this Sunday for the Arsenal versus Manchester City game, and you'll need Match Bingo to really join in on that experience with us. So scan the QR code on the screen. We've got a brilliant panel for you tonight. Backed by popular demand is, I think he said the lady of the night, but that didn't sound right. Kate is here with us. I was thinking a little bit of the Whitney Houston song, and then when I was thinking about saying it, it didn't sound too good. The Queen of the Night, not the lady of the night, it's the Queen. Anyway, Kate's here. We've got man like Crunk here, City fan, making his debut on the Football Terrace tonight. Welcome, my friend. Mr. Paddy Murphy's with us again. Everyone loves this guy. Well, some love him, some hate him, but he is here with us today. We have got Dayu here in the house, repping Arsenal. Have Hope is back with us. Guys, put a hat on now. Put a hat on.
Yeah.
He's here with us. A man like CB, backed by popular demand as well. Evening all. You all well? You all good?
Yeah, all good, man. All good, all good.
What have we done to deserve 2 Chelsea fans, bro?
This agenda needs to stop.
It's your lucky day, man. It's your lucky day, man.
Fucking hell.
This agenda, man. You know when they've only seen one Premier League trophy and it's behind closed doors, no parade, and then you see us down the road with 4 of them, 5 of them at this point. I understand. It ain't easy, man. It's not easy.
Yeah. Loads to go through there. Crunk, obviously making your debut today, Man City fan. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Just here to show up and show out for Man City, for Shades of Blue Pod, show that I do with my 4 other show bros. Just here to talk some football.
Good. I'm glad. We had a few of the City guys weren't available tonight, and it is hard sometimes to find Man City fans online. I actually got copied into a tweet from Patrick, who gave me your details. 3 of the 4 that he copied in have blocked me. So I was like, well, I can't ask them. I must have something to do with charges or something. I don't know. I do say you're the best team in the world. I don't get what the hate is all about. But I wanted to start tonight talking a little bit about Manchester United. I had a phone call earlier today, and it was a phone call that depressed me. It was a phone call that, I'm not going to lie, has hurt me. And this individual is very, very credible in this space, and he's going to start working with the Football Terrace very, very soon. So I'm excited about that. Very excited about that. But his opinion is that Manchester United are genuinely very keen on appointing Graham Potter as the next Manchester United manager. There is a theory. What is this? Hang on a minute.
Oh, no, man. Wow. Nah. Who did that, man? Who did that? Who the hell did that, man? That's messed up.
I love that. But yeah, he has a serious belief and a serious feeling that Man United may end up with Graham Potter. He said that Graham Potter is one of the top names on the list. Almiron is another name. And Southgate's name is there, but not anywhere near as high. He's kind of played that down. He said there's been no talks there. But Man United's new hierarchy, like order, they like structure. They believe that Graham Potter can do that. My challenge into him privately was, well, what about the terrible time that he had at Chelsea? And the belief around a lot of people surrounding Graham Potter and Man United is that they believe that was more to do with Chelsea's poor running of the club, the circus atmosphere they have, as opposed to Graham Potter being a poor manager. And I'm not going to lie, it's like a deflated feeling because Graham Potter is not a manager I want. I wanted to throw it out to the panel. I want to go to Dio first on this. Man United replacing Eric Ten Hag with Graham Potter. It's a serious possibility, according to some sources. What do you make of it?
I think that's going backwards, man. Honestly, I do think it's going backwards. Yes, we can make a case for how bad he was at Chelsea to say maybe it was the club or whatever it is. But the truth is, he's a Brighton coach. Like, that's the level he's at. Graham Potter is not going to ever be like. There's just something about him that just speaks 7th, 8th, 9th. Like, there's something about him that just says that. So for me, it's for Man U being the club that you are. That's a no. That's a no. Like, they just need to go get somebody. If you're going to get rid of Ten Hag, you have to go big or go home. You know, with all this investment that is coming in, with all the new management that they're putting in, with all the new backroom staff and the right people in the right positions, you might as well, if you're getting rid of Ten Hag, go get somebody who's class, pay that money, go through the ropes, and be like, look, you know, we're going to stick with you for the next 4 or 5 years, build this for us. But Graham Potter would only get. You're still going to fire Graham Potter after 2 seasons. He will give you a style of play. He will give you a method. He will put some kind of structure in there in the team. He'll probably, you know, they'll recruit very well the way they did at Brighton with that mentality and all that. But it's always going to be that bucket of 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like, that's where I just see him. So, you know, so I think it's going backwards. Yeah.
You see, here's the thing. Like, it is a bad idea, but let's just be honest here. Like, Quidditch ball wasn't that bad. Like, I would actually take Quidditch ball over the trash that we're doing with this loser Pochettino right now. But the issue was the whole running of Chelsea and everything was a mess. My thing is that what's wrong with Ten Hag? Like, let's Ten Hag cook. Because look at, I mean, obviously we're going to talk about Kobe Mainoo and everything, but look at how Ten Hag has introduced Kobe Mainoo, introduced Garnacho, and just how well he's developed them. Obviously coming from that whole Ajax mindset of like allowing young guys to cook. So now my idea is that does the Cliff want to now bring in like a whole English British mentality? Well, okay, this is one of the great British clubs. It should be coached by a British manager. Because if that's the idea, that's just stupid. Because the fact of the matter is Fergie ain't around anymore. Or Paisley ain't around anymore. There are no great British managers right now. So
let's just stop the British talk, because he just brought in a CEO who is I think Moroccan by ethnicity and Spanish.
Oh no! I know you're right.
By the way,
and Almarin is also very high on the list, and he is definitely not British. So I don't think it's about it has to be British. It is more about a way of playing football, and they look at all the available managers, and Graham Potter is one of them that they believe. Who, by the way, before he went to Chelsea, Graham Potter's style of football was praised by a lot of people. Let's not rewrite history. So it's nothing to do with Britishness. It's to do with the way in which they think someone can play football.
Oh no, but you're right. So I mean, look, I'll just bring it. I mean, I'll just bring something out there, but it's probably wrong. But look, put that to one side. Chelsea did not play badly under Potter. We did not play badly. We just couldn't convert our chances. And I think the issue for Potter wasn't that we played badly. Chelsea actually played a lot better than under this loser Pochettino. The issue was, I just feel that the stature of the club was too big for me. So Dio is right. Potter is a good manager. But for a Chelsea, for a Man United, for clubs of that stature where it's the high demand, I don't think he'll work. This is David Moyes all over again. Moyes is not a bad manager. It's just that Everton, West Ham, that is his level. So once he went to United, even though I still feel he should have been given at least one summer, once he went to United, you just saw that was just too big of a level for him. So for me, for United, this makes no sense. Like, bro, let's Ten Hag cook. Let him cook, you know? Like, it's like, if you bring in Potter, is he going to do better than Ten Hag? No. The issue for Ten Hag is this. Ten Hag needs to realize that stop having the mindset of Gid, which means get it done. Forget Gid. Create a style of play. Create a way of playing. And then go through.
It's been 2 years, though. I think that's the problem. He's failed to implement the proper style of play at United, you know. I don't think he's up to the level. He's done well in the Dutch league, but by all means, the Dutch league is absolutely horrendous. Like, and he's been there 2 years and not implemented a style of play. Like, that's what he was brought to United for from Ajax.
Was he though? Was he brought to bring a style of play?
For his philosophy at Ajax, the way they played football was amazing. But he said, Ten Hag has said, he can't implement the same style. But at the end of the day, he's got unlimited funds, and if he's a good enough manager, he should be able to implement that style. So I think, although they've won the Carabao Cup, fair play. Listen, this Carabao Cup, it's nice to win, but for a club like United, you still have got to bounce and continue. And they failed in Europe. They might not get top four, and I think if United don't get top four, he has to be sacked.
Do you know what's interesting? You bring up Ten Hag in the conversation. One of my questions to this individual was, what's the status of Ten Hag? And what was said back to me, I'm slightly paraphrasing here, but it was just, Ineos are not impressed. They are all about efficiency. They are all about organization. And when I say organization, it means in terms of things being structured and performed in a calm manner. The feeling of Ineos right now at Man United is everything is chaotic, even stating that training sessions, and none of this should surprise people if you look at how we play, but even training sessions don't match. So you might do some passing drills on a Monday, and maybe on Friday you're going to do passing drills again, but they're completely different and there's no cohesion between the two. And I think about how we play and it feels messy. So I'm not surprised to hear this feedback. And am I psyched about I think Ten Hag has got to go. I really do. I don't think he's going to turn it around. Am I psyched about Graham Potter? No, I'm not. But I'm going to have the same energy for him as I've said about Southgate recently. It isn't my first choice. Am I going to throw my toys out the pram and go crazy? No. Because maybe, just maybe, rival fans are right on this one. Maybe we don't have the ability right now, due to 10 years in the wilderness, to bring in one of the best managers in the world, who is also willing to start the club from scratch, which is where we are beginning from. And you look at Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. He wasn't the beginning of FSG's journey. Pep wasn't at the beginning of the Sheikh and his team's journey. There were individuals that came in prior to that happening. And I think that maybe, just maybe, we're going to have to suck this up a little bit. Maybe we can't get the very creme de la creme managers out there. And, you know, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. It's the greatest thing ever. But I'm also going to actually be a Man United fan for a moment and not show my ass and just say, well, it's not what I want. But because I'm not getting what I want, I'm not going to be a baby and go crazy. I'm going to wait to see the wood through the trees. I'm going to wait and see what they're doing, because I've been asking for football decision makers for a long time. We're getting them at the club. So I'm going to a degree, I'll scrutinize, but I'm still going to get behind their decisions for a time being and wait and see how things pan out before making crazy big bold predictions. And look, Man United fans are entitled to lose their temper. Some are entitled to go crazy. Some are entitled to rip up their season tickets. I'm not telling anyone else what they should do. I'm just saying, from my perspective, I'm not psyched about it. I'm not infused by it. But equally, I'm not panicking either. So that's just my personal feeling about it.
I love it.
So, Terry, if you sack Ten Hag, then you're prepared to start a new project. So you want to sacked and you want to start a new project from scratch again.
We haven't never started nor finished a project in 10 years. So we have to. It's not about what I want. It's essential. The backroom staff are removed, medical teams are removed, the board and all the football decision makers are pretty much already gone. They have to go. I think we need a new coach and new coaches. I think the whole thing needs to be. We literally need a reset, because everything is rotten. So I've been calling for this for 7 years. So I'm not going to suddenly turn my back on it. Am I psyched about the manager that we're now linked to? And there's some real credible voices behind the scenes talking about it. No, but I'm just going to keep my powder dry on it instead of, you know, I don't want to rant today and say, oh my God, we're going to get relegated with him, and next year we look great, and then I'm getting clipped up. I'm just going to keep my powder dry. But Crunk, you said you're really excited about this news of Graham Potter to Man United. Tell us why.
Well, first off, to me, it just says United are who we think you are. I personally think you should stick with Ten Hag, especially seeing him starting to play the young boys, the young stars. He's getting, and that's what he kind of wants in the first place. Also, it's not players that have had previous experiences with other managers and have a certain way where, you know, Ten Hag, obvious through kind of combatants he's had with players he's had, it's kind of a his way or no way type of vibe. So when you have these young players, you can kind of mold them under your emblem of sorts. You start that all over again with another manager. The only way that makes sense to me is if that Graham Potter is the style of football that you are going to want to play for the next 3 to 5, 7 years if you lose him, because you wouldn't want to start over after an Eric Ten Hag, bring in a Graham Potter who plays a different style to then get rid of him and bring in some new people who play another style. That's kind of what Chelsea was doing after the new owner came in. And and you kind of see what's happening with them. I expected when you pilfered Omar away, which have fun, I thought I was going to see some better moves, smarter moves, and me seeing Graham Potter, that puts no fear in me at all.
Can I say something as well? Like, this might just be a stepping stone as well. Like I said, Potter is going backwards, and because United has not done any restructuring in the last 10 years, they haven't built any. They've not tried to do anything. They've just been trying to get over the line. Right? In the last 10 years, this might just be the new management saying, look, let's step back. Let's go back and retake the exams which we missed, which is have a coach like Potter for 2 years. Let him build the style and the play with the young players that we have. Let's get this core together, just like a Brighton. Let's, qualify for the Champions League, and then we can attract a better coach to bring in more experience, more players, and be like, hey, look, this is where we're at now, because the stage they're at now, no top coach wants to go in and start digging all that dirt out and start from that very bottom scratch, like rebuilding. A top coach wants to come in, bring in a few pieces, have his style of play. We already know what they're capable of doing. Go out there and win. So I think this management has said, look, we failed the 6th grade. We failed the 7th grade. We're in the 9th grade now, but we need to go back to the 6th grade and start with a Potter. We need to go back and do something smart. Otherwise, whatever we do now, that rot is there. So
I think there's a truth to that. And do you know what Crunk I would say about starting again? And we have to. And again, with the individual I'm talking about, it'd be very obvious soon who it is with some of the content that Terrace is going to start making in the coming weeks. But the list of, you look at some of the players that are looking to move out, and a lot of them are, Anthony Son on the club are desperately seeking to move out of this football club. As an example, the club's looking to move Casemiro on, who's been a linchpin of what Ten Hag has been trying to do. That's for, there are different reasons in that. Varane's another player who is still a top player, but can't play 2 games per week, and the club wants to look beyond him. The club wants to, with new owners essentially that are running the club, they are looking for a genuine reset. And I think that every Man United fan worth their salt knows that we need it. I think the only thing that maybe we're all, and I know we say we're Man United, but if we're being honest with ourselves, we are Man United by name only at this particular moment in time. We do need to rebuild. I'm not saying I wanted Graham Potter, and I'm not defending the decision wholeheartedly. But at the same time, there's a reason that Almiron's on there, and Potter is on there, and Southgate's name has been mentioned. But there are no heavy links to the Inzagis, to the Simeones, they like Zidane, but no, they can't get him. There's no heavy links to those people. Now, do I think that Brailsford and Omar Barada and Sir Jim and Dan Ashworth don't rate those managers? No. Do I think that they feel that Man United are in a position to give those managers what they want today? Do I think that they feel that they are confident they could land those managers? The answer is probably no. And as much as that will hurt United fans to admit out loud, I think there's a lot of truth in that. And there's a lot of soul searching that's got to go on here from Man United fans, that we are broken. And I don't think this is about fixing us. I think this is about completely knocking us down, just like the stadium, completely knocking it down and starting all over again from scratch to rebuild solid foundations for a solid future. And as I say, I'm not psyched about Graham Potter, but all the other steps in this make sense to me. What's your thoughts on it, Kate?
I was just going to say, it was last time I did Straight Facts with you, not this week. Me, you and Mo were disputing whether Zidane would come to Manchester United. And now we're talking about Graham Potter. And I just think it's absolutely hilarious. I'm not going to lie. I mean, my ideal scenario would be Graham Potter comes in with Southgate as his number 2, and my life will be complete. I mean, that's just brilliant. I think it's a car crash. For me, I think Erik Ten Hag, I don't think he's a great manager, but I think he's better than Potter. I don't see that working at all. I mean, Gary Neville's come straight out and said, no, I don't want him. But Jim Ratcliffe, straight away, I think it was straight away on his radar that he wanted him. Apparently, there's been meetings with Dan Ashworth and Potter last weekend behind closed doors. It's for me, I can't comprehend that Man United have fallen that far where, we said that we don't think they can attract Zidane because he's not going to want to walk into the club in the state it's in. But surely, I mean, this is what Mo was saying. Mo was saying they're not an attractive prospect. I can't believe it. This is Manchester United. I've grown up with them as being the biggest club in England. Surely they can attract a better quality of manager than Graham Potter. I won't have it. I think that's just a cop-out to go for Potter.
no, for me, I think we have to just deal with the reality, and like you have to look at AC Milan. Like growing up, AC Milan was that club. Right now, AC Milan is a fruit-selling side chick club right now. So, and these things happen. And when we look at it right now, the kings of football right now, because things come in peaks and troughs. The kings right now are the guys with 115 charges and counting, Man City. So they're the kings right now. So I feel for Man United, in 2024, of course, they're still a popular brand. I mean, me and Terry, we go back and forth with this. United is still a popular brand as a business. Footballing wise, they are irrelevant. When it comes to football, Manchester United is irrelevant in 2024. So if you're a top manager, you're not looking at Man United as a serious football club. And that's because of the 10 years of damage that United have been through, similar to AC Milan. Like AC Milan and United are still respected, but I don't think AC Milan or Man United are still seen as serious footballing institutions in 2024. That's just the harsh reality.
Yeah, on that comment that Phil's just put up, I was going to agree.
Yeah.
With the people are like laughing at United, but at the end of the day, United have been in a constant rebuild since Ferguson left, and ultimately, because they've had the Glazers still controlling the football operations, they've not really been allowed kick on. But I think this is a sign of them getting the structure slowly but surely right. These big names haven't worked for United up to this point. I think this is actually a bit of a shrewd bit of business, because Potter's coming in after a failed Chelsea job where really he's probably treated a lot harshly than, for example, how Pochettino's getting a free ride, but Potter got much more abuse. United are in the rebuild, and as that comment says, he is the guy before the guy. The managerial job of United is somewhat of a poison chalice since the Ferguson days, and any manager who is on the up and coming knows how dangerous it is. No matter how big the club is, it's still potential career suicide. So they need to wait and build it back up, and I think they're getting things right with Ratcliffe coming in, Ineos coming in, obviously Ashworth, Barada, things like that. And now Potter could be a nice guy. He played nice football at Chelsea, with the right tools and with a bit of time. I think it's a true bit of business. I think people are going to look at this in the base layer and think, oh, it's embarrassing. But really, they're rebuilding again, and Ineos want their own guy, and it makes sense.
Let Ten Hag cook. Let him cook. That's my take.
It is really interesting. It just shows how up and down the stock of a manager could be. I remember once upon a time, I have Hope and Kate will probably remember this, maybe Paddy, I'm thinking about our ages. There was a time when Owen Coyle was being spoken about as the next Arsenal manager because of how good the football his teams were playing. There was a time where Martin O'Neill was the next great manager. And all it takes is a bad year or a bad result or an opportunity at a big club and a bad appointment, and they sort of lose their aura a little bit in football. And I think that's happened a little bit to Graham Potter. When he went to Chelsea, a lot of people thought he was going to cook. Now, I think he got loads wrong when he went to Chelsea. Wearing the suit, the new haircut, the new beard. I thought that was all wrong. Be yourself. He should have turned up still looking like that substitute school teacher, as opposed to, suddenly turning up wearing a £3,000 or £4,000 suit, you're being something that you're not. So if he becomes a Man United manager, yes, you have to wear a suit on match day. Generally at Man United, it's part of our tradition, but buy your shirt from Primark, get your shoes from Clark's, like just dress like Graham Potter dresses, genuinely, and be you. There's a comment here I want to put up though that says Terry is willing to have Ten Hag sacked for Potter because of one bad injury plagued season. Still a United fan. But this is where you're getting it wrong. Irrespective of who comes in, Ten Hag's still got to go. And I'm firm on that now. And I'll give you an example. I don't think Onana has been a resounding success. Awful in the Champions League. I think he's really settled down in the last 3 months and looked like a much better goalkeeper. But he hasn't been a resounding success. But that doesn't mean that De Gea didn't need to go. The fact that De Gea doesn't have a club, by the way, and he's free, tells you everything that you need to know. The fact that Real Madrid went, actually, no, we'll take Kepa instead, says a lot about where he is right now in his career. At the end of the day, if my car breaks down and it needs to be fixed, and I pick a garage, and that garage make it worse, the bad decision was picking that garage. Not that I took my car to a garage to get fixed because it was already broken. So you can't suddenly say we should keep Ten Hag who's failing just because the next manager might fail. Otherwise, you'll never get off the hamster wheel, my friend. It's listen, I appreciate you remember. I appreciate the comment, but I don't think it means that at all.
Sorry, would you keep Ten Hag if you win the FA Cup? You still sack him.
It's absolutely nothing to do with winning the FA Cup or Champions League. It's based, if between now and the end of the season we had many performances like against Liverpool and we started to dominate the ball, we started to control games, started to look good, then my mind could be changed. But if we are scraping over the line every match, even if we come fourth and win the FA Cup, that isn't enough, in my opinion, to stay. Sustainable performances is what we need to aim for. A super chat here that's very interesting. Says that anything English is average. I don't want it. Terry is biased. I mean, it's interesting on every level because firstly, I haven't said I wanted it. I agree with you. I don't want it. I'm just not showing my ass crack. Secondly, I mean, I know you support an English team. So why are you watching English football if it's average? I don't understand what your attack on my nation is all about. Plus, I don't think Kobbie Mainoo and Jude Bellingham and Trent Alexander-Arnold and Harry Kane are average. I think they're very good. I also don't think an English
Terry, let me help you here. I think he was trying to say any English coach is average. I think that's where maybe he's talking because he's saying I don't want it, meaning I don't want the Potter. Like I don't want it. I'm reading too much into it.
Maybe I don't think
he's that silly to come and attack the whole.
That's crazy. I think it's because an English coach has never won the EPL, so
he will be roasted.
In terms of Graham Potter, I've listened to what you guys have to say. I'll let you guys have the floor. But for me, in terms of Potter for me is a floor raiser. He's not a ceiling raiser. He can raise the levels of the players. I've seen the United fans over the last year during Ten Hag's tenure complain about the football that's being played, the style of play. Wow. No way, that's crazy. The style of play, the football that's being played. So Graham Potter, when he came in with us, the football, he implemented his own style straight away. So one thing about Potter as well that he does well under Chelsea, what he did well was that he adapted his style based on whoever his opposition was. He can do a back three, he can change to a back four, put two up top. He's very, what I'm saying? He adapts a lot as a coach. My issue, though, in terms of Potter and why he went wrong in Chelsea is because the characters were too big for him. Whereas in Brighton, he could just do his style of football, whatever. And you mentioned about him dressing up and trying to look the part. I think he was doing so to impress the characters, the level of footballers that he was coaching, and it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? They didn't feel like they could play under him based on just the reputation. Obviously, the way Tuchel was sacked and so forth. Also, the amount of players that were in the dressing room and all sorts, the atmosphere at Chelsea was very bleak. And I wouldn't really use that environment to judge him as a coach. He still implemented this style of play. We went to Milan twice. We crashed it on them both times. It was great football. So I feel like at United, he would cook. And especially the people that are turning their nose at him but still want Ten Hag sacked. What do you really want? Because you guys are complaining about the style of football. Ten Hag in his first season got top 4 and won a trophy. So fair enough, he's earned credit in the bank to not win a trophy this year because of the season he's had before. So now it's like, okay, if you don't want him here anymore because of his style of football and all of this stuff, Graham Potter would definitely do that job.
Yeah, I think it is when it comes to Ten Hag. It isn't so much, it is style of football, but I'm personally not worried about what the style of football looks like. I'm not overly, my feelings don't need to be met, but I want them to be sustainable. So when Conte was at Chelsea, year one, when he was recently at Inter, even though that style of football was very much absorb and counter, it was sustainable because it worked. With Man United under Ten Hag, you don't know what you're going to get from it's a bit like when you do like mystery, when you put mystery shirts on that company, you don't know what you're going to get. You might get a real good one, you might get an absolute horrible one. You've got no idea what's coming. We're just a lucky dip. You have no idea with Man United, so that's really what we want. So someone here says, thank you, dude. My wording is wrong. Rooney is my favorite player of all time. I meant English managers. Fair play, Sully. Fair play. My guy, Staffy joins us on the show. He messaged me when we're talking about this. What are you saying, Staffy?
This was too much waffle going on. I was like, nah, I gotta step in. Listen, I don't get the hatred on Graham Potter. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've been clowned before for saying Graham Potter's a good manager, so I'm gonna stick with it and I'm gonna back up over here. The idea of us going through a rebuild with a manager who's been proven to be good with rebuilds, bar taking on the worst footballing project in all of our lifetimes, aka Chelsea. I mean, I don't think that's something that we can use against him because look, ever since he's left, they've actually gotten worse. So I don't understand where is the issue with the idea of rebuilding with a manager who was actually decent at his job. Because I saw Phil B's comment earlier, and he said I don't want to call you guys clueless. You guys are not clueless, but on this topic, I mean, I'm hearing Zidane's name being issued. Why would does anyone really here think that we should get Zidane next year, and that's going to make us a better team?
Zidane is a bad idea. That's a bad idea.
No, have hope. Seriously, when people talk about Zidane, I think it's crazy. When you look at Zidane's career as a manager, he took over arguably one of the best Champions League sides when they had most of their 11 in their prime. Ever since then, I'm not saying he's a bad manager, but he's like a final stage manager where like if you're not winning, you bring him in and he's elite and he's well respected in football. He's gonna come in, he's gonna control a locker room, and he's very tactically sound, and he's gonna win you stuff. To start a rebuild, forget that we're in England and he doesn't like going to England and he doesn't like the weather, this and that. Pretend that we're a club in Spain. He still wouldn't take on the club because we're nowhere near hiring a Zidane or a Mourinho in his prime or an Ancelotti in his prime or any of these managers. We need a manager to come in and lay the foundation, which is what we tried to do with Ten Hag, which is why I won't be gaslit over here. I know Terry's trying his best to be unbiased because he's trying to host, but I'll do my thing and I'll rep United through and through. The Ten Hag, when he came in, he was supposed to start our rebuild, and he scammed us into a rebuild because you don't start rebuilds with a Casemiro and an Anthony for 88 million and all these older players that he was signing. He was signing players for the now. He wasn't signing all these players for the future. And I forgot who, someone here mentioned that he's implementing youngsters. When you look at the team that we're fielding out every week, we're winning with Jose Mourinho's players that he brought in with just a sprinkle of youth. Manu, that's not credit to Ten Hag. Maybe credit in the way he implemented him in the team, but it's not like Ten Hag scouted him and he signed him from a random team in Holland. Same thing for Garnacho. Listen, we can sit here. Most of us agree, most of us disagree. 1 second, I'll let you rebuttal. No problem at all. We can sit here and agree or disagree on how good Garnacho is, but he was in the academy before he came in. All the players that he brought in have absolutely been busts. Name me one player who came in who's been absolutely amazing. Even Højlund, who I know people are going to say maybe he's the best signing he's had. He went about 12, 15 games without scoring. So this idea that we need to stick to Ten Hag and that he's much better than Graham Potter. I've seen better football than from Graham Potter than him. Are we forgetting what Graham Potter did with that Brighton team? When we all wanted Cucurella and Bissouma and Solly March and all these players, who had them balling out? Who brought in Caicedo after they got rid of Bissouma? It was him. That was all under Graham Potter. And as I said, this guy, but I think CB, you mentioned something about his time with Chelsea. You guys need to be reminded, that when Potter took over the job, it was a week after the transfer window closed. That's when they sacked Tuchel. You don't sign a manager. I have never seen a manager get hired 1 week after the transfer window closes. That's probably the earliest appointment, bar obviously during the summer, that I've ever seen for a football club. He came in and he took over a squad of 30 plus players or whatever it is, and none of them he wanted. He actually never got a window that he was like, I want to build with this team. And this is the chance that he's going to get with Ineos, because Ineos wanted to sign him in Nice. Dan Ashworth, who's going to be hired by the club, he's the one that hired him at Brighton. So these are his people. So he's going to be hired by his people. He's not going to get the yes man treatment that he got at Chelsea. So other than him being English, and you guys, for some reason, I don't know why British people are their biggest enemies, because they love saying Brexit, even though you guys have so much talent in England. It's crazy to me. If I sit here and I tell everyone, name me your best players, they're going to tell me Cole Palmer is the best player in their team. They're going to tell me Saka's the best right wing in the team. They're going to tell me Rice is the best signing of the season. They're going to name all these players that are British, but yet when you talk about British talent and British this, British that, they always talk about Brexit. I don't want Brexit players in my team. It's insanity to me, to be honest.
All right, so Staff, there's a lot of things to unpack there. Firstly, your last point is due to management. In terms of talent, we all know there's talented English players. It's the same way we have the Southgate discourse and all of that. The players are talented. Even in terms of just now on the topic, I just mentioned Southgate briefly. I feel like Graham Potter would be an excellent England manager for us instead of Southgate. Well, that's another point. In terms of what you were saying about Chelsea, I was saying that Potter actually were a bit harsh on Potter's situation at Chelsea. Every points you made, I completely agree. But there's certain things that you said in terms of, you said Bissouma got brought in left, and Potter replaced him with Caicedo. But in the same breath, also said that you can't give Ten Hag credit for Kobe Mainoo and Garnacho because it's not like he went out of his way and scouted and signed them. You could say the same thing for Brighton. It was Win Stanley's and Lawrence Stewart's that were doing that. Who later then got brought to Chelsea for the job that they were doing.
No, but I did say I'll give him credit for the way he implemented him in the team. But people are talking about him now like he's discovering all these youngsters. Mainoo was known for years in the United Academy. He didn't discover him. He implemented him well, and I already said that. But let's not act like he discovered him. He wasn't a nobody.
In terms of Ten Hag's position at the team, in your lot's team, you guys, he brought you a trophy and a top 4 in his first season. Even at the end of that first season, and in terms of why he did that as well, he implemented a gash squad. The squad that he inherited a gash squad. The squad that he inherited was the squad that you guys had Ralph Ragnarik running, and it was an absolute shit show. So now he's come in, he's finished in top 4 Champions League positions. He's brought a trophy in the process, something that you guys have struggled to do since Mourinho was manager. You managed to now finally ended your trophy drought. You guys were crashing it on him. Now it's about the style of play. You guys are saying he's brought in young players. Fair enough. Garnacho was known in the academy. Kobe Mainoo was known in the academy. Being known in the academy is one thing. Actually having them starting week in, week out, bringing them into the squad, Premier League games, big games. He's playing against Liverpool and all sorts of these games as an 18-year-old. Now he's made himself could credit him for the way his career is today. And then you guys are constantly crashing on him. So now if Potter was to come here, because he's landed the top 4 and a trophy. So if Potter was to come in, because you're advocating for Potter, do you expect better than a top 4 and a trophy, or would you celebrate that in the same way and it's just a Ten Hag agenda?
Obviously, it's the first time you work with me, so I don't expect you to know all my takes. I've always been big on performances. I've always been big on sustainable performances rather than results. And Terry will tell you this, because I was always the first one out when I see something that I don't like. And I was never upset that I was the only one against the grain, because I know eventually people would follow. I've always been about performances. I started going against him when I seen performances regress, when I seen the recruitment being incorrect. That was back in the summer, because I knew that the recruitment he was doing wasn't going to improve us. At least that's what I thought. And I ended up being proven wrong. Plus, yes, the injuries, because I know people are going to talk about the injuries. So winning an energy cup, listen, I want to win every cup every year, but I'm not saying manager in or manager out based on one trophy. Even if we win the FA Cup, I want to win the FA Cup. And if he wins the FA Cup, I'm going to give him praise to it. But you can't be 2 years into your process with no style of play. Because everyone, the first step they take when they come into a team, if you're a proper manager, is implement a style of play. And eventually it could reflect into translate into some trophies. Klopp has done that. Arteta has done, because I was surprised. Dayo actually pissed me off the most. Dayo said it's a step backwards. I would love to know where Dayo was 4 years ago when they hired Arteta.
You didn't hear what I said, though. You just heard that. You picked up. I said it's a step backward to start rebuilding again, because Potter knows how to.
We never rebuild it, though, Dayo.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the first statement I made, I said Man U has never done a rebuild in 10 years. Everybody here heard me when I said that. Then I said Potter is a step backwards because they want to rebuild from the very ground up. They really want to get it right with the young people that they have, the right new staff that they have, the back room, the new management. These guys all know themselves, and they're going backwards. And I gave an analogy. I said it's like failing the 6th grade and you're in the 9th grade now. You have to go back and do that 6th grade exam to get it right, so that the foundation is strong, so that when Man U builds, eventually, even if they choose to bring in a better coach in 2 years, they're in a better position to actually ride well. That's what I said. So you picked on that one thing.
No. And I'll tell you why, Dayo.
Guys, can you round this up, though? Because we're 40 minutes in. There's lots of other subjects, and we'll run out of time. So finish up your point, Staffy. I've got some super chats, and we have got to move on to because we're 40 minutes into the show, and there's loads to go through. Yeah, but respond, and then we'll go to super chats.
Well, when Dayo's done being silly and taking that off, because I do want to talk.
That's what you get from misreading me.
Listen. Your graphics are more interesting than your football takes. But anyways, listen. You're talking about taking a step back and all that stuff. The reason I'm attacking you for that, because you said that at best he's a manager who's going to finish 7th, 8th, or 9th. When you hired Arteta, what did you think of him?
I said that's the vibe that he gives me. Arteta.
Okay. I understand that divide.
Okay, let me answer your question with Arteta. Arteta had never coached any team, so I had nothing to base it on. I was just like, you know what? We have an Arsenal former
which is even worse.
Hold on, listen. Which is why I could not with Graham Potter. I'm saying based on his work when he coached out in Sweden or Switzerland, whatever team it was there. When he came out all the way back here to Brighton, he's always been in that pocket. So I'm like, that's all I know of him. So basically, I can just base that on what I know about him. With Arteta, there was nothing to base it on except him being an assistant coach with Pep Guardiola for a few years. So for you to say, what did I think Arteta would do? I had nothing to base it on. If you talk about Pochettino, for example, he had done something at Tottenham, taking them to the final. So there's something to base it on when he's coming to Chelsea. You're expecting something from him. But then what were you going to base Arteta's own on? You know, so hey.
So we're just basing Graham Potter on his time at Chelsea. Is that what we're doing? That's all
I'm
saying.
Brighton and Chelsea. I'm saying what I've seen him do. I said
when he was at Brighton, everyone rated him. Everyone rated him over Eddie Howe.
Guys, I think you both made your points. The viewers are going to decide who wins. Otherwise, we can just keep going and going and going. I've got to get to these super chats. First one says Standard FC Staffy vouching for Potter. Brah. The thing is, that Staffy is not part of Standard FC. We did that test on Straight Facts last week, and Staffy is not part of Standard FC. He understands that it takes time to get back to those standards. Therefore, he can't be part of that weird cult that think you can go from where Man United are to being prime Man United in the space of one summer. Lunacy. Consistency is vital for a style of play. I see it with the formation and team selections, shit or not. Do we see even 6 out of 10s with these players weekly? Well, we don't because of the system 100%. Crush here says, genuine question for Terry. Do you think Man United fans have the patience to complete a rebuild from scratch? Also, Staffy's smoking crack, respectively.
Wow.
Let me answer this, Terry, because he's asking if we have patience to complete a rebuild. And he's saying, I'm smoking crack because I want a manager that I know will give me a rebuild. I am willing to finish outside of the top 4 or the top 6 for a season or so. In reward to get a style of play, to get a real rebuild. I'm trying to have my club. I'm trying to have my Arteta. I'm trying to have. Well, I can't say Pep because Pep was elite when he came in. I'm trying to have a manager.
Will do this rebuild though. How are you so sure Potter will do the rebuild?
But he's one of the options that I believe that could.
Potter has done it before at Brighton. Potter has done it. He did it.
We've been through. Staffy's been through why he thinks it. Like he has said why he thinks it. Whether you agree with it or not, is there.
I'm always on the terrace saying it. That's what I'm saying. This Superchat makes no sense.
Yeah, and just to answer this question as well, some fans will have the patience, some won't. There's a lot online who, in my opinion, just want to be angry for the sake of it. There's a lot of Man United fans who only thrive when Man United are in trouble. So they're always going to look to be angry at anything they can, whether it's good. You get it in the Arsenal fan base. Arsenal are in a good space right now, but there are some that it's like they're praying and they're waiting for it to go wrong because that's what they enjoy. So I don't think we can stress ourselves on that. Which players are sustainable and give 7 out of 10s weekly? I mean, you need the correct system for that. I stand by this fervent belief. Give Man United Mo Salah and KDB of 5 years ago and let them stay at our club for them 5 years. They wouldn't be the same players they are now. Potter can't handle United pressure. Couldn't even handle Chelsea. Got a vet mentality of manager just like you would a player. I think it's a fair challenge on that. Terry, play the Todd B clip. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. But viewers, make sure like buttons have been smashed. Make sure you're subscribing. Go and check out our sponsors today, Match Bingo. Get your cards ready because this Sunday, the Football Terrace is back on watch-alongs, baby, for the Arsenal-Man City game. I'm going to be there with my Match Bingo card. So get yourself signed up. You've got to be in the UK and over the age of 18 to play, but it's an amazing, amazing game. I know lots of you have signed up and lots of you play, so make sure you're tuning in about half an hour before kickoff for the watch along. We are live after the game for the match reaction as well. Don't worry about that, but we will be there. That's cool stuff. So yeah, before we move on to the big game, we'll come back to predictions later for the games. We were going to talk the Man United game, but we've gone well over time on that, so we'll come back to it. But I wanted to touch briefly on some news surrounding Chelsea because I think it's been handled quite poorly by the media and people's reaction to it about Todd Boehly being quote unquote sacked and removed as chairman. I think there's a lot of Chelsea fans that maybe got excited about this news just for it to turn out to be part of the process. It's not until 2027. It doesn't really mean anything. The big question I have is why is he still running your club? Well, I'm going to Paddy first on this. Why is Todd Boehly still being allowed to run Chelsea after what he's done to it so far?
Well, because he owns it. It's his to fuck up. Unfortunately for Chelsea fans, that's the danger of, not doing the proper test. But yeah, no, Chelsea are in a dangerous place. Like, Chelsea fans might think it's going to be a simple case of, oh, we'll be back. But with the way they've spent and the way they've behaved, they are in for FFP regulations out the wazoo, because it's going to be a double negative. They're not going to qualify for competitions. They're going to lose out on revenue, so they're not going to be able to spend money. But yeah, listen, I love seeing it. We do enjoy the Chelsea downfall, and it's fantastic to see. I think every top six fan, every fan can agree this Chelsea downfall is tremendous. They were the original oil club, the original hated club, but yeah, Todd Boehly is running that club into the ground, and the other geezer, I don't know what his name is, I forget. But
Egbali.
What's his name?
Egbali,
yeah. It's crazy. I mean, to be fair to Chelsea, they had stability for 20 years with Abramovich, and obviously the whole war stuff kind of, if it wasn't for the war, which I obviously wish didn't happen, they'd still have Abramovich and they'd still be cooking. So they've just been caught in unprecedented times, but it is enjoyable.
Can I ask a question of you, Paddy, as an outsider? I see it in the comments. Terry, Todd Boehly doesn't run the club. He's just a figurehead. He used to, but he stepped aside. Do you believe that, or do you believe that is a sort of a PR spin from the club? Because the idea was he was stepping aside and football decision makers were coming in, but the football decision making at Chelsea doesn't seem to have got any better since he stepped aside. So do you think he's still genuinely running the club?
I can imagine he's treating it like it's his toy. I feel like he at the end of the day, like whatever, he owns the club. Like he's the main man. He's pulling the strings. I firmly believe that he's made some of these decisions. Like I still firmly believe the signing of Mudryk, it was a political stunt, by the way, because they gave 25 million to the Ukrainian government themselves, and that was proper, like, the maddest shit you've ever seen. They just threw 100 million for a very subpar player who has potential, but he's never going to be like a world beater. So, yeah, I think Boehly is definitely pulling the strings, and he's treating it like his toy, but he's playing with millions of fans and people's livelihoods, and it's a very, very dangerous time for Chelsea. Make no mistake.
As for this news here, yeah, like you said, this has always been part of the plan. And I've done a lot of research as it pertains to this ownership, their model, exactly what they're trying to do. So essentially, what it is that Egbali or Family Kalo, forgive me if I pronounced it wrong, that's the other two owners. They own a majority stake. Boehly owns a minority stake. Now, Boehly was the head, the person who spearheaded our sporting direction of the club in terms of the under 23, under 25s Leonardo DiCaprio project, and with all the young players and so forth, and sporting directors. Why he got given credit to do that was because he had a lot of credit in the bank running the LA Dodgers. And if you guys follow baseball, you see that it's a shit show going on over there with Ohtani. The player they signed him on a record-breaking contract. But what they did is, through amortization that he was doing over here, he's deferred his contract and is only taking $2 million a year for his first 2 years, and then for the first 10 years, and then 10 years later he receives the remaining 450 million. So it just shows that his model, in terms of everything that we've done the last year, he's also implementing at the Dodgers. Now, going into the season, they've started running around with some PR talking about Boehly's taking a back seat and that Boehly's going to be running the reins of the club. That's why a lot of people will run around and say, Boehly don't run the club no more. He's still the chairman. And if you actually do notice, nothing's really changed prior to him coming in. You could argue that him taking a backward seat. You could argue, though, the incomings have been a bit slower in January. Nothing's going on, but we are all aware of the financial fair play situation. We're not able to spend as freely as we could have before in the last year, in Boehly's first year, because he in layman's terms, he's fucked us. So we can't really be spending as much the money that we were spending prior. Obviously, now what it is from 2027, Boehly will take a back seat. However, he returns in 2032. So everyone's celebrating, oh, Boehly's gone. Nothing's changed. The only silver lining that I could argue is that maybe from 2027 onwards, which is in 3 years, by the way, potentially he could change his model and we can have some world-class players coming in, some real experience, and instead, you know what I'm saying, this nonce project can actually end, excuse my language. But the fact that
you'll be in the championship by then. You'll be in the championship by the time you leave.
Dio, you don't want a UCL. Win a UCL first before you talk, bro.
You
don't think this nigga based on UCL?
To be honest with you, have hope. I love you, but we are banning that comeback now. You have milked that dry. You know, like
Terry, I'm 11th. That's all I have. Terry, that's all I have.
You know, certain singers, they had a great song, but they've sung it too many times now. We're bored of it. You can't use that comeback.
Terry, I'm 11th. What else do I have? I'm 11th. What else do I have to come back with? Oh, wow. Sorry, you've got to delete that, man.
It's staying. That is staying. But yeah, like Chelsea. Listen, CB, it was great to hear what you said there. It's good to see a Chelsea fan actually take a deep dive into the situation in their clubs. And I get Chelsea fans at the minute a bit like. So I'm glad that Crunk is here today. It's City fans, whenever you speak, not even problems. Yesterday we spoke about what a journalist said on the podcast about Pep maybe leaving in 2025 and the offence it caused speaking about it. I've never seen anything like it.
We're the most deluded fan base in the world.
In my life. And Chelsea fans are the same. There's one Chelsea fan who comments, like the story is, my tweet putting out this show says, Todd Boehly to be removed as Chelsea chairman, but what does this mean? And he's like, I can't believe you're spreading these fake lies. I mean, it's literally a question about what's being said, and then the podcast, we're going to delve into detail on it. And there's people getting mad that we're even speaking about it. It's like I walked in their house on Christmas Day and pissed on their children, how angry they are over a subject that needs to be discussed. I don't understand CB and have hope. Like the Chelsea fans used to be some of the strongest fans online in terms of they could give a bit of banter, they could take banter, they didn't mind their club being discussed. Now, it's almost like saying Voldemort's name. It's almost illegal.
I blame Lampard. Lampard is the cause of this. Lampard destroyed us. Because Lampard's reign, that was the Civil War. And that was the Civil War that ruptured the fan base in two.
I would say it was before that, you know. I would say
no, it was no, bro. It was Lampard. That was Civil War.
I'll tell you when the tide started shifting amongst the Chelsea dialogue. Is when Sarri came in. Because prior to Sarri coming in, we was always a defensive team. We sit back, we hoof the ball forward. Hazard on the counter attack. If you want to go further back, Drogba, we were scoring in 3 touches, like 3 passes. We were scoring a goal. We used to sit back and soak pressure and hit on the counter. When Sarri came in, he changed it. He wanted to implement a possession style. You know, I remember it was extremely toxic at Stamford Bridge when I used to go there. Sarri used to get booed. Jorginho used to get booed. They hated the slow build up. They used to say kick it forward, all of this stuff. That's where it really began. When the peak of the Civil War is when Mason Mount came in, and it was the Jorginhos versus the Mounts, the Saristas versus the Cobham sexuals or the Yerders. That's what they called it.
So CB, the other day you sort of defended him. So all these problems started with Roman then, and his decision making.
I wouldn't say so. Those problems you look at as problems, but problems in Roman's era is finishing the season 3rd place.
I would say though that through history, whatever subject matter you're talking about, you have to look at the origins of the problem, and you blame the people that created the origins, and all of that started under Roman's tutelage.
But here's the mistake. You may say that, but these new guys, they've exacerbated the issue. So the issue with them is that, okay, Abramovich didn't do everything well. Some things he did badly, some things he did well, but he did more things well than he did badly. That's just a fact. But the issue, though, is that we have a DiCaprio recruitment policy. I want to have a MILF recruiting policy. And that's the issue.
I'm not challenging that these guys haven't accelerated it, but this notion that things were perfect in the last 4, 5, 6 years of Roman Abramovich, in my opinion, Chelsea fans that say that are lying. You haven't competed for a Premier League title.
Sorry, no one has ever said that.
In 2017, you know, you signed a lot of poor players in that time. You've got Marina that's now in court over her dodgy dealings in things. You've got there's lots that he was doing wrong as well, you know.
No. That's very fair, yeah. But in terms of a lot of Chelsea fans do run with this narrative. A lot of people that are for this Clear Lake project, and they gaslight us by saying that Roman was poor since 2017. We was a poor team. Now, from the outside looking in, we look at 2017 to 2022. 2017, we won a league title. 2018, we went to FA Cup final. We lost the FA Cup, so ignore that. 2019, we finished. That was Sarri's first year. We finished 3rd, and we won the Europa League. We got a transfer ban, finished top 4, lost the FA Cup. A year after that, we won the Champions League again. And then we won a Super Cup and a Club World Cup. Outside looking in, those 5 years are greater than what certain clubs have done in the last 20 years. The top clubs as well. In the last 20 years, 15 years. You can't argue, yes, we had low moments.
No, you are right, but what you won trophies, but you know what we spoke about earlier, what Man United fans like myself and Staffy want, where you want to look at your team's performances, its activity in the transfer markets, and know that yes, we want to win now, but you want it to be sustainable so that in the future you're still there. The problem is you guys were hanging on by a thread. You were like an old boxer that's still got that knockout power but can't dominate fights, and you were catching a few people on the chin and winning fights, but you were never going to be the best fighter in the world anymore. And I think that there's no and I thought Todd Boehly and co, with the people they were looking to bring in, were going to get it right. They were going to spend like Roman, but just bring in a slightly more modern approach. But they've just got it really wrong. In terms of your game this weekend, though, boys, you play Burnley. You must be confident beating Burnley at home. Have hope. You've got to be confident in this.
Like if that clown doesn't beat one of the worst teams in the league, then he has to leave immediately. So I'm looking for at least a 2 or a 3-piece, and I'm hoping that Mr. Donations from Kiev will actually get 2 goals because he's actually been playing well, and I think he even scored to take Ukraine through to the Euros. So yeah, no, 100%. Like I think, but the issue here is this: we are mid-table. So even if we beat Burnley 6-0 and we sacrifice them, all that matters is that bold Catalonian and that FA Cup semi-final. That is the main thing. So the main thing is beating him because, first of all, whatever, similar to you, Terry, whatever Pochettino does, I want this clown to take a first-class trip back to Buenos Aires because this guy's trash. But just for my own personal enjoyment, because this has still been a failure of a season. Even if we win the FA Cup, this season has still been a failure. But beggars can't be choosers. I'll take whatever W's I can. So for Burnley is maintain your first team, know what your first 11 is. So by the time we get to the FA Cup semi, you have a clear first 11 that's playing a style of play, so that once you now get to that FA Cup semi, we're now building a rhythm. So what I want to say against Burnley is that this is your first 11 that you look to play against the FA Cup semi, so they now have proper cohesion. Please start Ichuku, a maker in there, and then we can now build on to now the FA, because really Chelsea's season is the FA Cup. That's his Chelsea season because like we've screwed up domestically now.
So question for you: you winning or losing? What's your score prediction?
Of course, we're winning 3-1.
3-1. Or what is LCB? You confident in a win for Chelsea this weekend?
Yeah, I feel like we'll win. I agree with what you said in terms of the league does not mean anything to us at this point. It's FA Cup or bust. That's the only way we can qualify for European football as well. Obviously, there's reports about the FFP actually hurts us if we get into European football. So, you know, that's just another mess. In terms of what you were saying, I do think we'll win. It won't be pretty. It'll probably be a 1-0 or 2-1. The reason why I say that is because have hope. I didn't really understand you're saying that we should implement our starting 11. We have 8 injured players. It just got announced yesterday. Lavia's out for the season. Having played 30 minutes for us after being signed for 55 minutes. We've got Ugochukwu out. We've got Chalobah out again. We've got I'm at a point where I even lose track of these injuries. Like, what
the fuck is a Ugochukwu? What the hell is that?
Wait, just show some respect. The guy has actually been injured and actually been quality better than that cocaine Gallagher, man. So show some respect.
Based on what? I hate when my fans
also, wait, Paddy, you've got 115 charges. You're actually cheat. So you can stop.
Hang on, Paddy's a Liverpool fan.
A Liverpool fan. Okay, well, sorry. No, I mean, so Crunk, you go 115 charges.
I've been called a lot of shit, but that's the worst accusation.
Paddy, my apologies from the bottom of my heart to my heart.
How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you?
Shout out to Gretzenberg.
Wow.
When I saw Paddy, this is my favourite meme. When I saw Paddy's face when he got called a City fan, this is all it reminded me of.
Suck your mum, yeah, I said it, suck your mum.
What?
That is hilarious.
Anybody on the panel predicting a Chelsea slip up in this game? Anyone think it's going to happen? Paddy, you do.
Of course, Paddy's going to say that, though, isn't he?
No,
Paddy, why are you hating, man?
Chelsea are fucking shit. Ironically, the thing about Chelsea is they've actually turned up for the kind of bigger games, but against the Dross, they kind of let it slip. And I think a lot of Chelsea players are just like overpaid mercenaries who don't have the passion for the club, and they just aren't. Their heart's not in it. And I think Burnley are just going to turn up with a lot more fight. And I'm pretty sure David Datro Fofana can't play because he's on loan, correct? But you're lucky because he had a bag. But yeah, I'm backing the Burnley boys. Big Darrow Shea, the Irishman at the back. We will be there.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think it will be.
Here's my score prediction on the screen, and it's going to be a beatdown for Chelsea.
You think they're going to lose 2-0?
They're going to lose 2-0.
Burnley. Yep. Burnley are awful.
They're that crap. That's how crap Chelsea is this season, though.
Wow.
That's how crap they've only turned up with the big boys, and with the big boys, they turn up. Hold on.
You see, this is just Lil Bro FC hating, man. Lil Bro just hating, man. Lil Bro.
You said your piece. I allowed you to say your piece. The truth is, you guys are crap this season, and you know it. And to turn around and think that Burnley, because you think Burnley is just going to come there and sit there and not do anything, all right? You think they're just going to sit there and not do anything? They're going to whoop you guys 2-0. They have nothing to lose too, except the fact that they could be relegated, right? That's where they are.
Dio, they're trash. Burnley are trash.
You're way more trash though.
No,
Chelsea's way more trash. Yes, you are.
Why not?
Burnley.
Yes, you are. Listen,
you know that.
Burnley. See, look, this is
we're hitting on big bro. This is hitting on big bro.
This is what I don't understand about you guys. Pochettino is so crap. Pochettino does not have strategy. Pochettino doesn't know what he's doing. Pochettino doesn't know. Hold on. I'm talking all the general Chelsea fans. You're one of the few that don't say that. But the thing is, the majority of you, the loudest noise of what we hear, Pochettino is horrible. The club is run badly. Todd Boehly is this is that. Everything is so terrible. But now we're going to play Burnley. Oh no, we're going to win.
No,
I've never seen those.
Because we could be bad, but Burnley was.
But it is Burnley. Burnley. I will say Burnley are so small, but also so bad that no one's even been speaking about Vincent Kompany this year. Which I know City fans won't know defending, but if that was Gerrard or Lampard or Rooney or Scholes managing them, and a legend of one of our clubs, they'd be getting rinsed for how bad they are. But Burnley are just absolutely left alone. Viewers. Sorry, mate.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Viewers, let us know what you think and feel in relation to that game. We'll come this year from Miguel says our recruitment has been trash since 2015. I think that's pretty fair from a Chelsea fan. It has been
we won
pretty
the
poor.
In 2017 and brought Danny Drinkwater and Bakayoko.
There's been a lot of poor stuff.
I wanted to give my take on the game real quick.
Yeah, go on, mate. Give your take on the game, and then we're gonna have a little chat on Spurs before getting onto the big game.
Yeah. I was going to say, Dio's doing, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that TikTok where they go to an Italian restaurant and they're like, let me know when to stop when they put cheese on your salad or your pasta or whatever. And they just keep going. That's Dio with his hate. Like, he didn't know when to stop. To say that Chelsea are more trash than Burnley, you just lose a lot of credibility there. Because they already spanked them early in the season 4-1.
You don't know who's
probably going to be
Chelsea. That's the problem. That's why I said they're more trash. They're unpredictable. You don't know who's going to turn up on the pitch. You don't know what Pochettino is going to do. The point is, if you're a team that we cannot point out, and at least we know Burnley is consistent for losing, right? We know that, but we also know that Burnley, they're consistent for something.
And you just predicted them to win.
No. But I'm saying against the team that we don't know who's going to turn up, what Pochettino is going to do.
You can't believe it.
I could tell you that, and I could tell you that they play. Chelsea have proven this season that they actually play decent football when the team against them gives them space, and they're going to play against a team like Burnley that gives everyone space. Burnley's probably the second worst team after Sheffield, not because they don't have a good style of play. They actually have a good style of play. But they're these type of guys, like they bought a Tesla and they're working on minimum wage. They can't afford to play that style of football with these type of players that they have. And this is why they're getting smacked up left and right. This is probably going to be one of their easiest game if I'm a Chelsea fan. This is not the team to worry about.
I'm talking about Staffy. Chelsea are unbeaten in the league in 8 games. I'm not even a positive.
See, I didn't even know that.
Chelsea guy, you know what I'm saying? But we haven't lost a game in the league since the Wolves game at home, which was a battering, appalling performance. So, but let's not drag it here. And in terms of the FA Cup, in terms of building up, we're at a point where we need to prepare for the FA Cup semi-final in a month. What I will say though, Dio, in terms of an upset, I wouldn't be too surprised because Chelsea, what I have found this season is we play relative to our level. If we are playing a top team for some reason, like Manchester.
What did you say there? You're unbeaten in 8 games.
Yeah, in the league.
That's not true.
We lost the Carabao Cup.
No, no, that's not true. You beat Newcastle in your last game 3-2, and then the game before that was your Wolves game that you lost. You're unbeaten in 1 game.
No,
league.
whoa, that's not true. That's not true.
At home.
We had Bournemouth. We had Bournemouth. I'm not Bournemouth. We had Brentford. We drew. We had.
Okay, but that's away, isn't it? You said at home, right?
No, I didn't. I said Premier League.
Okay, so in the Premier League, you're unbeaten. You're unbeaten in 4. You lost back-to-back games to Liverpool and Wolves, and then you've won 2 and drawn 2 since. You're unbeaten in 4, not 8.
Yeah, you won the FA Cup replay. Maybe you.
You won FA Cup games, and that. Just But viewers, let us know what you think. And Phil, another team on at 3 o'clock on Saturday. Kate, your boys take on Luton at home. You must be feeling confident about beating them. I know they've got a good sort of home record and performances against the bigger teams, but away from home, Luton are trash. You should be very confident to putting 3 or 4 past them.
Yeah, I would hope so. I don't like being confident with Spurs because they always come back and smack me in the face. I was so confident we were going to smash Fulham and lost. So I don't like... Normally, when I'm not confident, we pull out a good performance. But, I mean, if we can't beat Luton at our place, there's something really wrong. I think it'll be a tight game in the first half again because we seem to be so slow, and then hopefully in the second half finish them off. But our pitch is a lot wider than Luton, so I think we'll tire them out and hopefully get 3 or 4 past them in the second half. But it's really difficult to be confident as a Spurs fan because you do never know what you're going to get. It's as easy as that. We don't know what's going to turn up on the day. So, but I would hope we should beat them comfortably, she says.
Does anyone see a Luton dagger in this game?
Nah. No. Tottenham. I think Tottenham will win.
Tricky.
I mean,
Tottenham are so
I hear Kate when she says, she doesn't know what, like, if she's too confident. But the truth is, your coach has done a good job with. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I have to give it to him. He's done a good job with the style of play. Tottenham is going to turn up a style of play. That you cannot take that away from them. The only thing is, if they're unlucky and they don't take their chances and they let Luton score a goal, Luton can sit deep and that could hurt you guys. But if they score first, if Tottenham scores first, they're winning. They're winning. There's a style of play with Tottenham. You can tell, like, the high line. Oh no, the high line must work. It has to work. They're going to play it. So
I don't expect Luton to score. I'll be devastated if we don't keep a clean sheet at home.
Hey, respect them. They have more goals than us, Kate. They're not a bad.
I would be. To be fair, if we was going away to Luton, I wouldn't be as confident. I think they're completely. Oh my God, I look like Delia Smith or someone. I'd be. Dale, I really don't like you. I wouldn't be confident if we was going away, but yeah, I think we're beating.
It's crazy though. We say Luton have got a good home record. They've only won 3 games at home, but I think it's the performances that we all look at and say
they put a shift at home.
And they've won 2 away. That they do put that shift in, but they've grabbed quite a few draws. I mean, they have drawn 4 games away this season. They've actually drawn 3 of their last 5 games away from home as well. They've scored goals everywhere they've gone. So I think they might score. I think they'll definitely. I would say they score, but yeah, there's going to be another one where, a bit like this Chelsea game, I don't think those 3 o'clock games are going to throw up any shocks.
Spurs have been struggling against these teams that have physical midfields that work hard. Because when you look at their last few losses, the only times I actually predict the Spurs lost is usually against these teams, like the Fulham game, the Wolves game. But then other teams where you guys get to control the ball a little bit more and you don't get pressed in your half. You obviously get to flex your best strength, which is your build up from the back and all the stuff that Ange likes to do on and off the ball. I don't think you will lose to Luton, but I don't think there's you should be embarrassed if they score against you because you have let in a lot of goals this season. But equally, you do score a lot of goals. And Luton, we have seen Luton in so many shootouts this season. Like, it's not the first time we've seen them in a shootout a couple of weeks ago against what was it, Newcastle, something like that. They were in a shootout with us. They were in a shootout with Arsenal. They've been scoring a lot of goals. They have a very good front line in midfield, in my opinion. I think their midfield is very underrated this season. Sambi Lokonga and Barkley have been doing a great job. They might just trick you a little bit off the ball because they will press you. They will annoy you. I think it's going to come down to individual quality, and you do have more quality players than them, so you will win the game. But it should be a good game. Like, I see it like a 3-1 to Spurs, something like that.
And they have scored in the last 15 games. Luton.
scored a
They've
lot of goals.
been scoring. Yeah, they've scored in the last 15 games that they've played in. Whether win or lose, they scored a goal. So expect that they will play that kind of game with you. But I don't see anything but a Tottenham win.
Maybe Lakonga takes this game a little bit seriously too.
Maybe. I mean, I'd love it. It would spice up the Saturday afternoon beautifully. Luton go to White Hart Lane, get a result. Do you know what I mean? It would be a thing of beauty. Hang on a minute. Robert here says, is Luton thumping Spurs 3-0 and Burnley nicking a draw against Chelsea? Arsenal and Chelsea draw 1-1. Liverpool lose to Brighton. Wolves beat. They're all these predictions. That's what he thinks going on there. That would be an interest. That would be a mad weekend if all of that was to happen. And that does segue us nicely onto Liverpool, who play just before the big clash this weekend, Paddy. But you take on Brighton, a team that you haven't beaten at home since 2019. It's been 5 years, and you have just one win in your last 8 games against Brighton. A little nervous about this one, or do you think it will be job done? I mean, a little bit of a bogey team for Liverpool at this moment in time.
Well, first of all, I hope Robert down here does not bet, because you will lose any money you put on that. In years gone by, seasons gone by, absolutely, I'd be a lot more kind of wary of Brighton. 100%. But I just feel like this season there's a different twinge to it, on both ends. I think Brighton have kind of really hit a wall. I think a lot of their play. I'm not as worried about Brighton as I was. I do think, and then Brighton have a couple of injuries. We have a lot of lads coming back. Yeah, I'm just very confident. I really just think a lot of our players are in the zone, and these kind of games we do well. In the bigger, we've actually done really poorly against the Big Six this season, but in these games I think we'll get the job done quite easily. I'm predicting a 3 or 4-1. I just think the players are in the zone. We, especially with Arsenal and City in the evening, I just think it'll be extra. Will be extra on it ahead of that game. So yeah, I'm really excited.
I think the international break came at the perfect time for you guys, Paddy.
I agree. Yeah.
Soldiers. In terms of Brighton, though, I feel like the Graham Potter muscle memory is starting to wear off. Zesty as a manager, I'm not really his biggest fan. Zesty a bit.
Liverpool being linked with Zerbi.
That's my slander name.
Zesty. Okay, sorry, I got confused then. Thought I missed some news. Sorry.
In years gone by, I'd be a lot more worried. But as CB saying, I think the international break came at a good time for us, and I'm very confident. We have to win. I was looking at this. We have 10 games left. I believe we have to get 28 points. We can afford one draw, which I will say will be away at Old Trafford. United just seem to have our number this year.
Don't sleep on Tottenham. You have to play Tottenham, don't you?
At home, but at home we cook. Twust. Bad twust in it, bro. Liverpool at home we cook. Bar the COVID season with no players.
So what's the ideal result for the big game and the City Arsenal
draw? We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We're marinating right now. We get to that, bro. We get to that later in the show.
I thought he was the presenter. Holy CB, you need to chill. Romeo Labia going crazy.
I think Liverpool will win, man.
Do you know what though? Do you know you actually do look like? And when you first messaged me and I saw your profile picture, you look like the guy that used to do our tech stuff, Javern. You have Hope knows him. You look a lot like Javern. He's a Chelsea fan as well. So when he first saw you, I was like, has J Dog got a new Twitter account? You look a lot like Javern, But yeah, look, anyone see Brighton shocking Liverpool? I mean, Crunk, I mean, they've beaten them once in their last 8 games. Liverpool have won. It's been 5 years since Liverpool beat them at home in the Premier League. Should Paddy be as confident as he is?
He should. Liverpool need to win. Brighton look bad. I don't know what's going on with De Zerbi. I've been kind of excited about what he's been able to do with the club, and they just seem unfocused. Really, there's only so many years you can get rid of your best young players for big money without, the floor falling from under you. And I think that's kind of what's happening at this moment. And they either need to stick to building and hold on to a couple players for a few years, or blow it all up, get rid of De Zerbi, let him go somewhere where they actually want to win trophies. But Yeah, no, Paddy should be very comfortable. As a City fan, I want them to lose. I'm low-key rooting for them to lose. But I've learned, unfortunately, after the Klopp versus Pep, this entire rivalry, I can never expect Liverpool to lose. When I expect them to lose,
What rivalry?
hey, I won't do that. I won't do that. I won't do that.
You will.
I won't do that.
Not
I
letting
won't
that
do
do
that.
it
I
go.
won't
There's
do
no
that.
rivalry. Do you know how I know? Because
I won't
Liverpool
rivalry.
fans want City to win the league if they can't. That's not a rivalry.
There's a romance. They got a
Do
romance.
that? Who said
That is
that?
a romance.
I have not met
That
one
is-
Liverpool who has said
That is not romance. That is some that is Brokeback Mountain.
You're not
Who?
understanding.
Paddy.
I don't
want City to
understand
win?
why people go that route. We have a rivalry with City that, of course, we have come out on the worst end of.
It's a rivalry.
So, like, City have won so many that if they win another, it's a drop in the ocean. If Arsenal were to go and win the
is this what we're
league, it
doing
would
this?
be a seismic bullshit storm, you know. So that's the
It
why.
just means
Paddy, it's not a
more.
rivalry. Stop it.
It's not a rivalry though.
You have been
Oh, Dale, don't give me
and
that shit,
sacrificed.
man. This shit as well pisses me off.
But it's not a rivalry. It's not a rivalry. You know what?
It's not, bro. It is a rivalry. Stop
No, it's
yapping.
not. Stop it, Paddy. It's not a rivalry.
Rom's here. Long-time viewer. My brother is a great guy. Liverpool fan says we don't have a rivalry with City, Paddy. He's being honest.
What
You don't.
Rums, you're what? Rums, I don't care who you are. You're talking out your hole. Of course we do.
Who's got a piano playing in the background?
What the hell is that?
Oh, sorry.
noise?
Sorry, that was my son. My son's practicing.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to mute you while you're talking. Sorry. I just want to make sure. Yeah. Your son playing it. I thought it was like I was worried about copyright strike. I got done once because my brother was in the other room watching EastEnders, and the EastEnders tune came on. I got a copyright strike because it played through. So that's all it was.
No, Paddy, stop.
There is no rivalry.
A rivalry is where I win some, you win some. Do you know what it's like? How they were trying to say Serena and Sharapova was a rivalry. That was not a rivalry. Serena beat the living bricks of her. Now, Federer and Nadal, that's a rivalry. I win some, you win some. I win some, you win some. You've won once in this whole back and forth.
Paddy, let me ask you a question, bro. If a genuine, honest answer, and to Crunk. If your teams can't win the league this year, would you prefer Liverpool or City to win it, or would you both pick Arsenal?
Can the league just end? It be defunct? Can I say no?
No, you can't sit on that fence here.
Oh,
Get
okay.
So if you've got to pick now, you can't win it. Are you picking Liverpool to win another one, or are you picking Arsenal?
I think Arsenal. I can't. I don't want to see Klopp. The way that it's already being spun. No, I don't want none of it. I want none of it.
You must be the same then, Paddy. You no way you can want your biggest rival of your lifetime really to win another trophy.
Well, see, this is what you keep saying that it doesn't. They're not mutually exclusive. Do you know what I mean? They have been a rival, and we have rivaled them. Anyone who someone who dumbs it down to 5-1 in titles immediately shows their lack of football knowledge. If you just want to if you want to look football through the guys purely as that and discount the battles that they've had in the 2 seasons with 90 odd points, 1 point being lost on the final day, which by the way was only because of VAR decisions against us, including
They all
the
have the same script.
You know what I love? How many Champions Leagues have Liverpool got? 6. I know we've got 3, but I'm not counting it as 3 versus 6 anymore. I'm saying you've got to put all the context in play. I'm saying it's 6-all, mate. I'm saying it's 6-all. So
I want to add something. I feel rivalries, a big part of rivalries are hate. I hate your fan base. You hate my fan base.
And I hate
this.
Liverpool.
Is why I'll tell you. Maybe you do, but I'll tell you what. Look at United and Arsenal as an example. One of the best rivalries in the Premier League. Who came up top on that one? It was United. But does it mean that because we came on top, we don't care for them? Of course not. 20 years later, you still talk to United fans that were at that age that were watching that rivalry, and they always tell you what? We hate Arsenal, and Arsenal fans tell you we hate United. When you talk to Liverpool fans, I swear I never hear Liverpool fans talking about how much they hate Man City.
Yeah,
they never do.
Yeah, I do.
Paddy, maybe you do. Maybe you do. But I swear, there's so much of they love to brag about how good you guys are. look, we're losing to the best team in the Premier League era. Oh, they were better than Fergie's team. This and that.
It's
And I'm like,
mutual respect. Can you not give someone mutual respect?
No, that's not how rivalry
No, no,
works.
no, no.
I want to hit you. I want to beat you up. Okay, I want to.
Yes, I still want to beat you, but they're talented people. I hate
No.
Salah,
I
but you
can
have to respect
respect you.
greatness.
Hold on, I can respect you without giving you like I know it. Like I'll tell you something. I grew up mainly on the Chelsea
respect
United
that.
era where they won 2, we won 3, and then they won, and then we won 1. I used to hate Chelsea. I used
We
to
came
hate
out on
them
top of
so
that as
much.
well.
We came out on top of that one, but I still hated Chelsea. I used to respect Drogba, but I fucking never said it, bro. I always hated Drogba, but I'm like, you know what? If I'm playing this guy, bro, oof. Today he's putting in a shift. Lampard, same thing. Ashiko, same thing. I respected that team so much.
Yeah. Like Man United and Liverpool have never actually been two very good teams at the same time. Since our rivalry really kicked off in the late 60s, early 70s, we've never been rivals that have competed for the Prem or the league titles at the same time, really. We've always sort of missed each other's best teams. But that rivalry still is still there. If one of Liverpool or City was to fall away now from challenging, you two wouldn't ever think about each other at all, really. You've competed for the same league title, so by definition, that's a rivalry. But what we're talking about is the sporting sense of a rivalry, which is built more on just two individuals competing for the same trophy. There's got to be needle. There's got to be your managers hug and kiss and love it, genuinely love each other, and there's no wrong with that.
Fake.
I despise
It's so fake. It's fake. It's so fake.
No,
How
it's
many?
not
I'll tell you what. How many Liverpool fans will tell you, "Oh, they don't want Arsenal to win the league this season," or City fans are going to say that. You guys, there's going to be City fans that are going to say, "We don't mind Liverpool winning one as long as Arsenal don't win one," and you'll see the other way around. You'll have Liverpool fans saying that as well. Paddy, you're saying there's not, but there's actually people out there that are saying that because they can't stand
Liverpool
Arsenal
fans,
fan bases.
Liverpool
I understand
fans,
what you guys are saying, but you hear a literal City and Liverpool fans saying this isn't true, and you just keep
you were
arguing
anomalies.
it with
You
us.
guys are anomalies.
I would say you are. I would say because Sam doesn't like City. I would say that you guys are the exception that proves the rule. There are some City and Liverpool fans that don't like each other, but the vast majority, I would use the word, you're indifferent.
No,
you're indifferent to one another.
No,
Sure.
see, I
That works.
despise Man City. I absolutely despise them. I would love them to be nuked from existence, every iota of that club.
That makes
However,
sense.
because of their financial doping, their success
Oh.
is so easy for me to write off. I don't respect them. It's been done fraudulently, and I will never respect it. So that's why anything they win is easily thrown away. With United, I hate United too, but I respect their great teams and I respect them as a club because they've done it the legitimate way. And when they win, it really hurts because it's like, proper. When City win, most people don't give a fuck. Liverpool's Carabao Cup win got more hype than City's treble, and that's an absolute fact. No one gives a fuck about City.
But
Paddy, what I think you've just done, I think what you've just done there, Paddy, though, is confirmed what we're all saying. I think with any genuine, true, historic, or even contemporary, genuine rivalry, beneath all the bitterness, the banter, the hate, the frustration, there is an underlying respect. Almost, there's no yin without the yang. You almost, and I've said this before. One thing I would never want to happen in football is for Liverpool to go out of existence, because I think Man United lose part of themselves. If one of Arsenal or Spurs disappeared, I think you lose part of yourself because that rivalry is so ingrained within us. The difference is you look at City as like Sam does, like a manufactured, cheating, financially dope football club that means nothing. If it means nothing, you can't be rivals.
But they're not interlinked. That we still are rivals because we've been competing with them for years and have been so unlucky on 2 occasions. So that's why I hate them even more. By as you said like 5 minutes ago, by definition, we are rivals. But I have no respect for them. Both them and Real Madrid, I despise the both. I wish they both didn't exist. But United, I wouldn't say the same thing.
By definition, a rivalry is people competing for superiority in the same competition, right? So hold on. So all 20 teams are rivals on that very on that very surface level, which is like we're all coming here to compete, right? Great. Now, Liverpool, or let me say Paddy, I won't say Liverpool because I've not seen Liverpool fans who say they hate City the way you say it. I think you are desperate to create a narrative of two guys who are juggernauts, knocking each other's heads like Man City and Liverpool. Yeah, we're rivals. You're not. These are your coaches. Look at them. Take a good look. take a good look, right? This is what you guys are doing. There's no rivalry there.
No.
It's not a rivalry between Liverpool and Man City, and we all know
No.
it. We're
Yeah.
not, we're
If
not-
you
look,
ask most men,
look,
if you
if
ask
you-
most
if-
Liverpool fans, name the top 3 teams that you hate or your top 3 rivals. I bet you Liverpool won't be on it. United will be on the
they
first
respect
one.
each other.
and
I
vice-
think,
and
I think
vice
you respect,
versa.
I think you respect each other, but that's a different thing. You're talking about skill sets
Yes.
and how good the clubs
Yeah.
are. You respect each
Yeah.
other, but that
Yeah.
rivalry does not exist.
This here says we respect Liverpool for high quality. This here says Romance and Liverpool are the bridesmaids. Mount will score against Chelsea. He'll be up for it. I hope he does. That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Terry and Staff, can I ask you guys a question? Just because you guys basically
Really quickly, so we've got to move on. But go on.
100%. In terms of, because you guys are right now in the way the league table is, you guys are the ultimate cucks. All 3 of your rivals are competing for the trophy: Arsenal, Liverpool, and City. So at this point, what's the Paddy? So what I'm looking at now, like, what would you rather have won, and does it kill you guys to see the league table and know that no matter who wins this season, you guys are fucked?
That was in retirement, Paddy. You
Yeah, I was gonna say, Paddy, that was
that was
probably
in retirement.
that
That was their retirement. Both of them were retired. They're like,
just,
we're done.
Yeah,
Finished.
just really quick, because we are running out of time tonight. Just to answer that question, I do. You know what, CB, you and Don don't see eye to eye on a lot of things Chelsea, but you're both very similar in the way that you try and make Man United's situation sound worse than Chelsea's, which it isn't. We're not cucks by any stretch of the imagination. You're the ones rolling over and letting old man Boehly rub your bellies, bruv. We're not doing that. But what I'm gonna say is really simple. We want Arsenal to win it, not because it is the lesser of evils. Now, City are not as big a rival to me as Arsenal. Liverpool, my biggest rival. However, and what I will say is very, very simple on this: City could do a 4-peat. And if anybody on here that doesn't support City wants them to do a 4-peat, you're a disgrace to your football club, because it's a record that will be set that none of us will probably ever see again in our lives. Liverpool will draw equal to Man United's 20 league titles. So as a self-respecting Man United fan, the lesser of the 3 evils is Arsenal winning it. But certainly it's, me and Staffy said before, it's definitely painful to see.
We get involved in this every year, Terry, and this is why when people try to clown us, I'm sorry, there's a reason why every year when this happens, people come to United fans. No one asks Spurs fans, no one asks Chelsea fan, no one asks any other fan base other than us, because we have the most haters for many reasons. We were rivals to everyone.
Man United are everybody's biggest rival. It's as simple and as straightforward.
Liverpool hate us, City hate
And
us,
now it's
Arsenal
us,
hate us,
baby.
Chelsea
And now
hate
it's
us,
us,
Saints
baby.
hate us.
Hate us because you ain't us.
Maybe. Look, we're going to move on now to the big game. We're going to move on to the big game. And I want to go to Dio first on this, because a lot of people hate on my titles of videos. And what they don't realize about my titles of videos on panel shows and straight facts is they're based on what somebody on the panel has said, as opposed to my opinion. I must say that on a lot of shows, and the silly people at the back don't listen. But are you still convinced, Dio, that you are going to beat Manchester City this weekend at the Etihad?
Am I still convinced that we're going to beat Manchester City at the Etihad this weekend? Yes. Yes, I'm still convinced we have what it takes to beat them. I believe we can do it, and we will do it. We don't have an option.
Stop it.
We don't have an
Dio,
option.
stop it. Stop
We
it.
don't
You
have
don't
an
believe
option.
that. Dio, you don't
We
believe
don't-
that. Stop it.
Let him cook.
Yeah,
Let him
listen,
cook.
we don't have an option. The bottom line is if we really want to play with the big boys, then we have to beat the big boys. That's all it takes. Like, you can't come in with excuses. We can't come in with whatever it is. We just have to go there and do the business. And if we don't do the business and we lose, then it's on us. We take the fall for it. But at this point, with the way my team has been playing, I back my team to go there and get a point. To get their point, I back them to go there and get their point. That's it. So yeah, I think we will go there and do the business. I'm putting it on screen so that they can clip it very well, because when we do win and we come back, I want everybody to see it.
We're going to put it in big. 3-1, You're going with 3-1 Arsenal.
Yes,
Now, Crunk, first time on the terrace. It's for a huge game with big implications on the title race. Dio is very, very confident that they're going to go and beat you. How do you see this game panning out from a City perspective?
I'm not going to lie. Yes, Arsenal, they had their successes earlier in the season. It was through craziness and penalty kicks. It's whatever. We're definitely not the same team. Arsenal, they've also had a lot of growth. I'm very much worried about our injuries that we're dealing with right now that kind of worries me. But there have been changes that Pep has made with like Doku, seeing Phil kind of emerge as himself. Haaland still hasn't even figured out what he's doing yet. Still kind of like struggling, which is kind of crazy to say when he's a leading goal scorer, I think, at the moment. It's our defense. I think goals are going to happen, which worries me. I don't think it's going to. It's definitely not 3-1 for Arsenal. That's crazy.
But you don't sound. I'm going to. You don't sound confident. I mean, you're Man City. You're the best team in the world, and you are muttering and stuttering, and you sound panicked individually, mate.
This is the Manchester way, ain't it? Like when the match comes, the kickoff happens. We're at home. I'm always going to say we're going to win, but. Things happen. Arsenal, Liverpool, those matches are always stressful. They're intense. I think we're going to win.
It is defense. The injury situation at City is very tough. Stones just went down against Belgium. KDB's out. I'm forgetting one more. That's
Walker, Stone.
Walker,
Stone, Kanji,
the reason why I will
Nunes.
say Man City should make something happen is because of the Rodri unbeaten streak. 99 games. Will it touch 100? That's the real thing there for me. And Arsenal, looking at them, is a must-win game because after this they've got Luton, they've got Brighton away, and then they've got Bayern Munich at home, Aston Villa in between that, Bayern Munich away, Wolves, Chelsea, and Spurs in the same week, United, Everton, and then Bournemouth. That's a crazy run of games, and that's assuming they get crushed out of the Champions League.
It certainly is, and we'll come on to Arsenal in a minute. But I want to throw this to Staffy. Based on what CB has said about the injuries, Crunk there being I think he's being overly humble on purpose about his team's chances. V's a little bit like that. Paddy can be a bit like that. The only City fan you ever meet that isn't really like that is Hamza, really. But do you believe City should be not written off, but people are talking like they're the underdogs because they've got a few injuries. They're talking like they're the underdogs because they've been leaking a few chances. Do you buy that? Or are they the resounding favourites in your opinion, Staffy?
Well, when you look at the names you just mentioned, Crunk and V. These are very well PR trained North Americans. I can smell it from a distance. I know these guys very well. No. But listen, I understand where they're coming from. They don't want to be mudded. I feel like social media has scared a lot of fans from speaking with chest. And I was saying that before the injuries. I said no one really wants to just kind of claim this and say, no, I'm good enough to win this game, or I'm good enough to win the title. Everyone is just passing it on to the next man, and I don't like that. But he does have a valid reason now because he does have a lot of important players out. Stones obviously being out. With that knee injury that he picked up. I don't think so much Kyle Walker because I'm not gonna lie, he's been trash. So it's probably a good thing for you that he's not even gonna play because we saw what Luis Diaz did to him. Edison will be a big miss because I think you do need him in a big game like that.
He trained today, though, Staffy. Edison. He did train today. Yeah.
Okay, that's good news. I was gonna say that's probably.
They said, sorry, Staffy. They said they were training just to see how they're doing, if they're going to be able to play. Like they just wanted them on the pitch to see, not because they were fit to actually play. Sorry.
Yeah, he's probably still going to be a game time decision. I think he'd be the most important one. But I do think you should speak with a little bit more chest because yesterday I was trying to think of who's the replacements. I'm like, yeah, they do have 1, 2, 3, 4 players out from the back five. But then I realized you have Gavardio, who you paid 100 million for. You have Ake, who has been very good since you guys signed him. You have Diaz, who's isn't he your captain, I think, or he's your vice captain after Walker.
Yeah.
And then you have potentially Rico Lewis playing in fullback, since Akanji might be out as well. That's a solid backline. That's still that backline could still win you a Premier League in most teams.
Okay, so if I can say, what worries me is players like Stones out, KDB out. Well,
KDB trained today.
He's a star. But until I see him on the pitch, I'm just gonna say he's out. Like I understand what everybody's saying. But Stones, he brings so much narrative. It's these players just bring so much control. Now, I'm not saying we're going to lose. We're at the Etihad. It's a fortress. I've been predicting. I want this quadruple. Not only do I want this quadruple, I want this back-to-back CL. I want to make everybody miserable. I want to win the quadruple. I want to win back-to-back Champions Leagues. And all we're going to get for the 115 charges is a slap on the wrist. Oh, a giant fine. oh, we can't transfer for maybe a year. Who cares? You want me to speak with my chest? I'll speak with my chest. Everybody already hates us because I'm an American, a plastic fan. I have no problem saying that. If you want to come on to Shades of Blue, but I just figured this was the first time I come on here. I should be nice. Polite,
no, you don't need
so
to.
He invites me back on. Oh, but trust me, no, bring me back on. Trust me, I'm gonna turn it back up.
You'll hear a lot of rumors and lies about me. You can pretty much come on and say whatever you want as long as it is football related and non-personal about anybody. We don't discriminate like that. The problem is most people, they come on the terrace, they give it the big 'em, they get cooked, and then they run away crying. That's normally it. But you speak your mind, brother.
Yeah, well, I also don't want to speak too crazy because that's kind of the thing about us on Shades of Blue. We try to speak with some gravity and stuff like that. Always, baby, shameless, like I said. So we just, yes, we're winning. Don't get me wrong, but I should, be a little hesitant. Be like, they might get a goal on us. We haven't been able to keep a clean sheet for a while. That's been incredibly frustrating. Clean sheet allergy FC has been striking all season, but no doubt we're gonna win. I'm gonna flip it back on Deo. 3-1 City, baby.
Let me ask you, because Deo kind of stated some of his reasons. He's actually been saying it over a few weeks. Sorry, I just saw a comment. I was gonna say, what makes you think that you could get 3-1 on them? Because listen, 3 against the best defense in the league this season, even though you're at home, I wouldn't put it past City to score 3 against anyone. That's normal to say 3 for City. That's not the worst take in the last few years. But I think their backline has been very good, and I do think that you've been struggling a little bit with your offense the last few games, because I've seen you struggle against us, even though you did score 3 eventually. One of them, I'm putting 100% on Amrabat, but Foden, it took a moment of brilliance a couple times from Foden for you guys to score. There was a few games where you were just winning 1-0 about 4 games in a row. Haaland wasn't really getting that service. Now De Bruyne potentially could not be 100% playing that game. Where are you seeing this 3-1 coming from? Like, what's igniting that?
Arsenal. I think there ain't. Yes, it's respectful. I think just they step up when it comes to playing Arsenal, when it comes to playing Liverpool. I just think there's going to be hate. We need to win this match. We're in third. This is exactly, yes, we shouldn't be the underdog, treble winners, all that stuff, but we are in third. We need to win. We are at home. We get that first goal. Arsenal presses a little bit more. Maybe they come back to us. That fits in what we want to do. The game opens up. Pep has made the proper adjustments. I think Daku, he's been receiving the ball a lot more midfield instead of way on the wings, having him try to beat people in duels. That way he's progressing the ball up the field with the speed. It worries people. He's struggling to get the ball to Haaland. So maybe they need to figure out something in there. Haaland, my bad. The Midwest to me.
What the hell, boy?
Hey! He's from the Midwest.
I'm from the Midwest. Like that's how we talk. My God,
yeah, but
bro.
Haaland's from fucking Norway, not fucking Paris.
The accent from the Midwest.
Goodness gracious! I'm already American. Is this what we're gonna do right now? Oh my God! Goodness gracious! Please relax. I can laugh at you. You sound funny to me, my boy.
I can only imagine what Paddy would say if he met someone from Southern America, someone from the South with the accent and the way they call players.
Paddy's Irish. Like, there's some things you men say. All of us, we all say things differently. Like, it's great. I love it.
Bro.
You did say the way you said it. It reminded me of the lion from Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I thought you said Aslan is what I thought you said. But I was like, oh wow, I love it. Keep going, brother. It's amazing. I love it.
He's derailed me so much. But anyway, it's just I'm interested to see what, I guess, the steps we've taken from this international break. Pep has had plenty of time to think and tinker. That Arsenal press, it's going to be interesting what we're going to do. It's going to make us play very direct. We're not going to be able to play from the back. So that's what I'm going to be more intrigued in, is who they're going to decide to kind of move the ball long to, wide out to, the Holland. Yes, I'm aware of it. Yes, I'm excited. But also, like Kate, I don't want to get too wild because
but I'm a Spurs fan.
I don't want to flick on me. Yes.
Slightly different.
There's no Spursies. Yes, I am aware of it, but still.
Paddy, how do you see this going, bruv? Because obviously there's a bit of chess being shown by Crunk, and then it kind of shades away. They are really confident. Arsenal have been the most informed team in the Premier League. City have got their issues. When you look at the injuries, we probably know most of them are going to be fit. The same as most of Arsenal's injuries are probably going to be fit. How do you see this game panning out and why?
Well, listen, contrary to debunks of errors and City rivalry or like it being close, we have had many of these title games against City, whether you fucking want to believe it or not. Obviously, these games always have a similar build-up where it's City every year is the favourite who's going to win the league, but then Liverpool or Arsenal come along, or Liverpool, well, not Arsenal, only this season or last. But yeah, no, there's going to be a lot of hype, and it's going to be a 1-1 draw. It will be a 1-1 draw. It has draw written all over it. Yeah, I think City just know how to get it done. Obviously, Pep Guardiola knows how to get it done. He is not going to let an opportunity pass him by. I think it's more likely to be a City win, and that's not a slight on Arsenal, but at the Etihad, they are imperious. And again, they've not lost a game in a year with Rodri. So I think a draw would be fantastic for Arsenal. I think Arteta would take a draw right now, and I think it will be a draw 1-1.
Terry,
It will be much closer than any 3-1. Sorry, Di, I just wanted to.
Oh, okay, Staffy. Yeah, but here's my reason. Like I said, if this was City of last season, I would not be predicting anything more than a 4-0 beating from City against Arsenal. Like they would beat us. But City this season is gettable. And the form that Arsenal has picked up this season, looking at the Arsenal team from last season and right now, the maturity that they're playing with and how they're playing the game is not the same like last season where we're playing free-flowing football, trying to attack everybody. Like we went to City last season and did that, and they killed us. When they came to the Emirates, we saw how that game went down. Of course, it was a deflected goal, but at the end of the day, that game was neck and neck. It wasn't like City had opportunities. Right now, currently, if you're looking at form, we have the best defense. Right? In form. I'm not saying we're a better team, but in form currently. Defense wins you championships, man. If you can't score against us and we can actually penetrate and score, and since you're gettable and you've been leaking goals, if we get a chance to get one goal or whatever the case is, it's downhill from there. Because if you can't penetrate our defense, then that's where I see that's where I see us having an edge over you. And which is why I predicted 3-1. I predicted 3-1 for the Liverpool game as well. Everybody said I was crazy. When it was 2-1, and eventually at the last minute, we scored the third goal. And I predicted that the day before the game. Yeah? So it's not a case of it's looking at the team and what you have available to you and what we have available to us. And of course, it's the Etihad. Respect. I respect your team, but I'm not afraid of your team. That's the big difference. I can respect you because you're winners. You've done it before, but I don't have no fear for you no more. If it was last season, there was a lot of fear. Season before, there was a lot of fear. Now, I go in knowing that I can get something out of there. And so why not go for the big win? That's why I predicted 3-1.
Well, City have 0 wins apparently this season against top 6 sides. So that actually plays in your favor for what you said, Dayo. Listen, I don't think the game is going to be 3-1 for anyone. I think both of you guys might be a little bit overboard with your predictions. I don't think this is a 3-1 game. This is a much closer game than you guys are making out to be, because if you want the evidence, just look at the last 2 games you played this season. Both of them ended with one of them was 1-1. And that one, it went to extra time, by the way. So in the 90, none of you guys scored. And the other one, Martinelli had a deflected goal. So it just shows you how difficult this game is, because both of these managers are out trying to outdo each other tactically. If there is one 3-1 that is more doable, I do think it's Arsenal, and I'll tell you why. I think City's biggest nightmare is their transition defense. And Arsenal are actually good on the transition. They are a good team at keeping the ball, but they can actually play in the transition, especially if Martinelli's playing. And you having all these absences in your back line, having Diaz to play, I don't think Diaz actually plays a lot of these games where Pep is trying to solidify the transition. He actually didn't start against us, and he knew he was going to play a counter-attacking team. So I actually think with the way you guys are going to set up potentially with all these injuries, it does come into Arsenal's favor. And I don't think Arteta and the Arsenal players are going to City scared. I think they respect them. But I think we all seen him draw these light bulbs and all these things that he always does to boost the mentality with these players. And I think he's really building them up for this game. And I think they're going to come in not trying to just pick up a point. I think they're going to come in and they're going to try to win. And I've seen him put a very, very good tactical game against Liverpool. He set up that game perfectly. And I see a similar setup of him sitting up somewhat in the mid-block instead of pressing you guys. He won't press you guys like he didn't press Liverpool. And if he does that with the players that he has available versus the players that you don't have available, I think this has an Arsenal win written all over it. It would be marginal, by the way. It would be like 1-0 or 2-1.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. I wanted to ask about the game, Kate, because I've seen a lot of pundits online, a lot of people saying, you know, we had LB on the show Tuesday that if City don't win, he doesn't think they'll win the league. A lot's being said the same as Arsenal. If they don't win the game, they can't win the league. Do you believe a defeat for either team, maybe even a draw if Liverpool win prior, is going to be that pivotal in deciding the champions of England? Or do you still think it's all to play for regardless of what happens?
I still think it's all to play for. First of all, Crunk, I really liked you, but all you Man City fans, honestly, you make my blood absolutely boil to the point where I could literally explode. You're so shameless about your charges. As an older fan, I don't know how old you are. How old are you?
Shameless.
Yeah, how old are you if you don't mind me asking?
34.
34. Okay, so you're
look good for 34.
overly young. But as an older fan, if my team were up for all these charges, I wouldn't be so brazen about it and boastful about it. I think it's an absolutely abomination that none of your fans have got any shame that this cloud is hanging over your club, that you're cheats. Right, that's the first thing. You can answer me in a minute, but I'm going to just say my piece. So that's the first thing. Second of all, I think there's no way Arsenal walk away from this without getting at least a point. I think Partey and Tomiyasu played in the international break in a friendly behind closed doors. I think they're going to be key. So for me, I can't see Arsenal walking away with. They could well win it, but I think they'll get a point minimum. And thirdly, no, I don't think it's the be-all and end-all. There's a lot to play for still. But I think if Arsenal do manage to win this game, the momentum will carry them on to win the league.
I agree.
That's what I think.
So what I will say about the whole 115, there's just we can't say anything without it becoming a thing. 115, it's a reply for anything. What can we do other than be shameless? You want us to be like, stop talking about, leave us alone, blah, blah. No, we have to embrace it.
Do you know what? If it was me, I would say, yeah, I appreciate we've got 115 charges hanging over us, but until we're proven guilty, we're innocent.
That's what we try to say. That is what we try to say at the beginning.
About it and go, and laugh about it and give it love.
What was that, Kate?
That's what you did. It was
I understand that. That's what I tried to do when the 115 charges were first announced. We took a whole podcast episode and I went through all the charges and I talked about it, and mostly it's just City not playing ball to the way that FA wanted, how UEFA wanted. 75 of the 150 75, 90 of the 115 charges is just you didn't send paperwork in on time. You didn't send in the right paperwork. Is this really what we're doing?
34 of the 115.
Oh, anyway, it's a lot of them. Yes, but I'm not worried. Yes, you got to let the justice do what they're doing, but I don't know what more to say. What more can we say? I've tried to say, yes, let jury do its thing, but everyone is always saying 115. So how can we say give us the space? But everyone, Paddy, you heard Paddy? How can we say give us space when he won't even acknowledge any success that the club has had because we're cheats? And it's just come on now, you just take the L's like a grown adult and move on. It's okay. We're still lifting the trophies. We're still winning. We're taking the treble trophies all around the world, and call us cheats all you want. We'll run up the money and we're going to continue winning. It's just frustrating. So that's why we embrace it. That's why we become shameless.
Do you not have, when you look at the evidence that is in the public eye, so the emails, people say that they were leaked. Yes, they were by an ex-employee. When you look at those emails and the details that are in them, when you listen to the journalists that have pushed out stories to say there's far more evidence that will come out, but it's under basic lock and key because of the trial that's facing. When you read those emails that are, I understand Kaz, as some of it was time barred and Kaz has defended you on some of it. But as a fan, when you read it, does that not make you ever so slightly concerned that there could have been misgoings on at your club? Are you not worried? Do you think there's any, do you personally feel there's any possibility that you've broken rules?
So this is it's a very pointed, because if I say sure, then it's like, got him, cheat. But then if I say everybody else is like, who else? If you're not cheating, you're not winning type of vibes, then it's just like, oh, he's a slime or he's diverting the attention. There really isn't a win to answer this. Like, sure, we've cheated, but like, who isn't trying to do some stuff? We've been hacked into. Like, I'm just saying, we've been hacked into. Like, and again, see, and that's what I'm saying. There's no nice way
but here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though.
To answer this question.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, the question is like, if Arsenal was accused right now of 115 charges, right? I would sit there and say, listen, if any of those charges are true, my club should be punished. Why? Because let me finish. Okay. Why? Because I love my club and I want them to do things the right way. If they won any trophies in that time where we cheated, they should take it away from us. Because I don't want that name on my club when I'm putting the jersey on my 4-year-old and taking him out and somebody's telling him that that's the club that you support. Like, I don't want that on him. I don't want that on myself, and I don't want that for my club. But when you talk to City fans, they say things like, oh, well, yeah, they're just trying to get rid of us. It's because we've been winning. It's not because you've been winning. You were winning despite the fact that you were cheating. These things that you did in the past, these moves that you made, not sending in paperwork on time, so that way they've not checked your finances, you can buy other players. You think that that doesn't help you? If they ask you to file,
change every year. They mess with paperwork.
But here's the question: as the rules change, what about the 19 other clubs, the 17 other clubs, 15 other clubs that met up with that rule? Were you the only ones who the rules changed for? Why is it that Aston Villa is not being told the same thing? Why is it that
I think that's the thing. From what I've noticed in the last few weeks and days is that whenever you talk about Man City, and this isn't aimed at you, Crunk, because you
it's fine. I've just heard it like a million times before, so it's just all just
I get you on it, but I think for me it's a case of the conversation wants to be shut down. Man United were embroiled not in cheating allegations, but it's only a few months ago when Anthony was being questioned before he was cleared of any wrongdoing, and there was a lot of stories that emerged of Man United sending club doctors to the hotel room where the incident allegedly occurred. And as a Man United fan, of course, I said the same as I've said about City. You're sort of innocent until you're proven guilty. But my reaction was, if we have done this and helped cover up this heinous crime, my feelings towards my club are going to change dramatically. And I think maybe, just maybe, there hasn't been enough of that. I think we're innocent. But if we have, like, I hear City fans say things like, do you know what? Even if we have done all these things wrong, I'm still going to celebrate those wins like they were real. That's when you look at that. Sounds like you're not you personally, but when City fans say that, I think rivals look at it and go, so you don't even care that you've cheated. And at the very least, I think you would want the normal everyday working class fans like you, like I, like everyone on here to go, you know, if we have cheated, it's an abomination. But we don't want to dwell down too much on this because it wasn't a big part of the show.
Okay. Let me say, but I do want to say this though.
I'll let you finish up on it. Go on, mate.
Cool. Yes, if we are found guilty, send us to wherever you feel like you want to send us. I'm not going anywhere. I became I specifically became a City fan. I was flipping through FIFA, playing with my friends when I was a kid, and I found out there was another team in Manchester in the 2nd division that I had never heard of. And I loved their logo. I loved the shade of blue, and I was just all in from there. I loved an underdog story. I loved the idea of being able to one day take on the top teams. Now look where we are. It's wonderful to see that this has happened. Oh, let me guess, Paddy, you're going to say, I don't believe you. Huh?
Hey, Crunk, I tell you, it's a convincing story that you've had to make up to defend yourself. We all know you started supporting since 2019, brother.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can find my shitty beat.
It wasn't FIFA, it was Shake Man.
Tell me your evidence, bro. I love it.
No, hold on 1 second.
I don't mind believing your story.
Buying a retro crit 20 years later doesn't mean jack.
No, listen, I do believe him because I actually picked my team based on FIFA too. I was just a kid scrolling through FIFA.
The one question I do have is were Division 2 teams on FIFA 20 years ago?
Yeah, it's always been.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't play it enough.
So, this was my first kit I ever bought. You can see how beat up. Look at the pits. This is gross. This is still.
No, it's not.
I'm a kid.
That's 2012.
I'm a kid. Whatever. I'm a kid. Like at this
Yeah,
time,
bro, that's the Sheikh Mansour era, bro. That was like 2012.
No, but to be fair, like
I'm
I
just
didn't
saying-
buy my first United jersey until
That's
like
what I'm
I was
saying.
like I had enough
had
money
a-
to buy a jersey. I
like
didn't have
it's
one.
in America, like you guys.
And that's another
as-
thing you have to
guys
hear,
as-
Paddy. In America, it's different here. It's different here in
It's so
America.
tough.
Like it's,
You
it's
don't know
harder.
what I
It's
had to
harder
go
to
Yeah,
through.
get.
no, but he said that kid was from 2007, bro. It was
My
yapping,
bad.
bro.
Do you know?
Yes,
Do you
I'm
know what's
wrong.
really? Do you
My
know what's mad?
bad. My
In the
bad.
States,
But I'm
in the
just
States,
saying.
I was at an event in the
It's super
States
tough.
once, a Premier League event in the
Ugh.
States, and I see a guy who was walking around, and he had a, he had a. I want to get the team right. It was a Southampton shirt on with a Wolves hat. And if people just buy it, yeah, it is a little. I know it's definitely different in terms of. Let's get back to this game.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's what podcasts are about. You go off in all different kind of
It's all
directions.
Kate's fault, bro. It's always
It
Kate.
was Kate's fault. Kate just threw a grenade into the middle of the show, and we went off on a tangent there. But I sort of agree. All week I've sort of felt, or the beginning of the week, it was like, no, Arsenal need to win as their season's over. In terms of winning the Premier League, I don't necessarily think it is. The Liverpool game and result is going to play a huge part. A draw may be okay for them to still go on and win the league, because I don't see any of the teams winning this weekend and winning every single game till the end of the season. I don't think either team. Arsenal have never done that in this sort of modern era, and City and Liverpool both have slight issues defensively in terms of conceding chances. So I do think there's more points to be dropped from both teams. However, I do agree with the point that's being made earlier. I think if Arsenal do go on to win it, this game, I think they'll become from this weekend marginal favourites. And I'm then intrigued, if they become those marginal favourites, how they then cope. Because last year when they became the favourites is when they crumbled. This year, they've been written off by everybody. If they become the marginal favourites, the media starts saying they are, their fans say they're winning it, rivals start to kind of concede. I'm just going to be really intrigued on the mental change that suddenly happens to the Arsenal squad. Have they grown from last year? Have they learned from it as an example? So, yeah, it's going to be really intriguing to see.
And Terry, a very good point as well to add to yours. Liverpool play before them. What if Liverpool drop 3 points? What happens then? Because I think both of these teams, listen, City and Arsenal are going to this game knowing, listen, we could potentially be behind Liverpool. They're going to pick up their 3 points. We just need to keep up with them. But they could be throwing a curveball at them, and all of a sudden Brighton beat them, and Liverpool would drop all 3 points. Does that add extra pressure on both of these teams? Is that Arsenal team gonna collapse now, knowing if we win today, we're gonna go up 4 points on both of our competitors? Our City, I think City are the best one to cope with it because they've been there before. But what is that going to do to that game? I feel like the whole narrative is going to change, and it's it's right before the other game. Isn't it like 30 minutes? It ends 30 minutes before the other game.
Listen,
so you just have
saying
go ahead,
what if Liverpool lose to Brighton is like me saying, what if I get to enjoy sexual intercourse with Margot Robbie? Neither of those things are going to ever happen.
Oh, I so hope they lose. I so pray.
It won't happen. You can hope all you want, and you can hope Tottenham win a trophy before you never see another one.
But excuse me,
Paddy. Like I will say this: you've only beaten once in 8 games. You're the favourites, but this arrogance that you're absolutely gonna win no matter what, I think it's a little bit premature, wouldn't you say?
Listen, those kind of stats, I don't like stats from seasons gone by against certain teams. Just doesn't make any sense. It's a totally different Brighton team rocking up now. This is the worst Brighton team that we've seen in 3-4 years. Like it's in 2-3 years. It's not the same team. They're playing really poorly. They got battered by Roma. Like, we're at home. If we were going to the Amex, I'd be a little bit more reserved. I wouldn't be so super uber confident. But listen, it's going to be easy money.
You have a lot of good clips today, Terry. Easy money, 3-1 this, 3-1 that. Someone's going to be working overtime.
Terry, you need to get some TikToks going. You cook on there.
These clips are going to be,
well, we've got a guy that started editing them for this week, but KJ's been off on his honeymoon and stuff. He's back Monday. I can't wait. I've had so much work to do. I've had so much. I've obviously been reaching out to you guys. You want to come on shows? That's what KJ normally does. So like, I can't bloody wait. I genuinely cannot wait. Until he's back, so I can delegate all that work back to him, as it were. But yeah, it's going to be an amazing game. We've got some super chats here that says, nah, this Paddy guy is incredibly cringe. No, he's not. He's funny. He's funny, is he not?
You have a profile dedicated to a man who played 6 months for Liverpool, bro. You're the cringe one. Yaposaurus Rex.
Big up, Ozil.
Moved London to US, and there are so many City fans, and they all tell me they supported City for 20 years. Just coincidence, they happen to be the only club that went from nothing to everything overnight.
Overnight? It took like 12 years.
Arsenal fans should pray that KDB is injured, as he has averaged a goal and assist every 60 minutes against them, which is ridiculous. City are still marginal favourites. I don't think City are marginal favourites. City are the favourites for this game. I wouldn't say it's marginal. They are the favourites to win. Not heavy favourites, but what are the, you bet the odds. I bet you they're odds on to win, where with Arsenal, you're probably let me just check now. If we people want to say like favourites and stuff, let's just go on to this app here for a moment. I'm not going to name them because we have a title sponsor of Match Bingo right now. But let's look at this little game this weekend and let's see what the actual odds are. So yeah, City are 10 to 11 on, so they're more than odds on favourites to win. Where Arsenal are 3-1. So that's a fairly sizable margin. City are the clear favourites according to where most people are putting their money right now. Arsenal fans, sorry, already done that one. Arsenal haven't conceded more than 2 goals in the league this season. Only conceded 3 in cup games. Yeah, that's a crazy stat. The defense of Arsenal is going to be a big one. I don't believe the injuries. It's all mind games. Yeah, most players from most sides are going to be fit. We all know.
What do you mean Stones got injured on the pitch? We saw it. He came off in 10
Yeah,
minutes.
barring Stones and Martinelli are the only 2 that I genuinely look at and think, oh, because Martinelli's had some problems leading up to the international break as well. Paddy, the Milky Bar Kid, is what Jim says here. Brighton 2-1 win. That's Jim, by the way. That's Kate's husband.
Yeah, he's only joking.
Is that a fat joke, Jim? That's crazy.
No, I think he means your pal.
Milky Bar Kid's a little boy with glasses. Like
yeah, he's a little blonde kid.
I think he's trying to distract me with chocolate. I see what you're doing, Jim.
That's what he does to me all the time, to be fair.
Oi. Big respect to Crunk. It's a journey to become a supporter when you live in the US. And if you've been a fan more than 10 to 15 years, you know it's hard. It used to be hard to watch your club regularly, is what Jay Moore says here. And I got big respect to international fans. I don't get enough credit. Remember, none of our clubs would be what they are without international fans. And
correct.
That's the truth. Paddy talking about City. Let me tell by you something about my best friend, but we have hate, who won 5 or 6 times during the rivalry.
Robert, put this. I mean, I'm sure Terry appreciates the super chats, but you need to stop yapping, bro. Oh my god, you've been yapping all day, Robert. Have a sleep, bro.
That's super chat song, bro.
Robert needs to come and subscribe to Shades of Blue over here and give us some of that money. There we go.
I don't mind self-promoting, but let's not ask. That's my income. It pays for my kids. You know what I mean? Let's relax. I'm joking. As a Liverpool fan, in my humble opinion, Liverpool versus Chelsea has the bigger rivalry in the last 10 years in Europe, the Premier League, Cup finals, etc. There's definitely more needle between those 2 football clubs as well for many, many reasons. If Arsenal win 1-0, but it's going to be 1-1, I hear you on that. I get what you mean. It will be crazy if that was to happen. Look, I want to thank everybody that has tuned into the show today. I've absolutely loved it. Great challenge. Great opinions from everybody. Gets lots of new faces over the course of the international break, which will continue as we move forward. Tomorrow, remember, we're back with Staffy again with us, with Hussam for Straight Facts. So be with us tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. We are doing it earlier over the course of Ramadan to obviously be supportive towards Hussam and things that he has commitments to, and Staffy, of course, although it's early hours in the morning for you, so it's not really.
They wake me up at 8:30 in the morning to do a show, but they're accommodating to my Ramadan. If it was accommodating, I'd be.
I'm helping. I'll be shameless. I'm helping Hussam out here, brother. I did it for him. He asked first, but we're back tomorrow live 1:30 tomorrow. So make sure you're tuning in for that. Remember, watch along this Sunday for the big game between Arsenal and City. Match Bingo are sponsoring it, so go and get it downloaded now. Go and get yourself signed up. Take a look at it. We'll talk about it more over the weekend. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very